Chapter 180. Shi Shang's abnormal behavior confused the group of people who usually relied on Shen Yaoguang to do whatever they wanted. How sincere could these people be to Shen Yaoguang? The higher a person stood, the more glamorous they were, the fewer people they could trust. This was the normal state of people. When you were on the same level as them, they could easily treat you as a friend and confidant. However, when you were a head above them, they would feel injustice, jealousy, and envy. Shen Yaoguang finally understood when she was sent out by the Shen family. Shi Shang looked at the furnace in his hand and was a little worried. This thing was the Medicine King Cauldron? It was black and ugly. How should he deal with it? It was impossible to give it to the female lead, but she had no use for it. Refining pills herself? Don't joke, she wouldn't do such a tiring job. There was no shortage of low-level pills in the 9 regions, but high-level pills were priceless. Because the female lead obtained the Medicine King Cauldron, she was able to refine high-level pills and win over a lot of people. Shi Shang thought for a while but couldn't think of a way to deal with the Medicine King Cauldron. In the end, he could only put it aside and wait until he thought of something. The female lead's strength was at first-level Spirit King and she was young, so she attracted a lot of attention. Before she even entered the school, several mentors were fighting over her. In the end, the female lead chose Zhongxi. The female lead in the story also chose the same. This mentor's identity was not simple. He was the vice president of the Alchemy Guild. Shi Shang's mentor was Yi Tiannan, a very weird guy. There was no hidden plot, he was just a guy. Fortunately, he had some skills, but this guy and Zhongxi didn't see eye to eye, so he would be miserably played by the female lead later. Yaoguang, you're here. Just in time, I'm going to teach the new students. Come with me. As soon as Shi Shang stepped into Yi Tiannan's territory, he heard a despicable voice. What am I going to do? Torture them. Shi Shang didn't want to answer, but when he thought of this guy ignoring him, he became more and more excited. Shi Shang still replied, Yaoguang isn't cute at all. How can you abuse them? Yi Tiannan corrected in disapproval. We're going to educate them. In the end, he said excitedly, I heard that Zhong Shixin's new disciple is also here. I have to go and educate him properly. The corner of Shi Shang's mouth twitched. This weird hooligan deserved to be cannon fodder. How dare he teach the female lead a lesson? Didn't he know that the female lead had her own alarm system? In the end, Shi Shang was dragged to the square by Yi Tiannan. When new students enter the academy, there would be instructors taking turns to teach them the things to pay attention to in the academy. Today was Yi Tiannan's turn. Other than Yi Tiannan's appearance being a bit sloppy, with his haircut and beard trimmed, he was actually quite a good-looking uncle. Unfortunately, he was now a burly man. After Yi Tiannan had finished explaining the things they needed to pay attention to, he immediately organized everyone to spar. Qin Langyue, come and spar with our Yaoguang. It's about time. Hobo Uncle immediately revealed his intentions and stared at Qin Langyue with malicious intent. A trace of disgust flashed across Qin Langyue's eyes. She probably thought that Hobo Uncle had taken a liking to her beauty. Clearly, Qin Langyue was overthinking things. Hobo Uncle was currently thinking of how to have his own disciple torture his rival's disciple. Qin Langyue looked at Shi Shang and frowned. Teacher, senior sister Yaoguang is already a 3rd-level Spirit King. I'm only a 1st-level Spirit King. I'm definitely not her match. She knew that Shen Yaoguang was the most famous genius in the academy. She was about the same age as her, only a 3rd-level Spirit King. After all, it had only been 3 months since she was able to cultivate. In other words, she'd gone from Spirit Attendant to Spirit King in 3 months. It's fine, it's fine. It's just a friendly spar. Hobo Uncle didn't buy it at all. Yaoguang, spar with your junior sister properly. Shi Shang's forehead was covered in black lines. I don't want to fight with the female lead. I can't kill her, and I might even be suppressed by those stupid rules. Qin Langyue had no choice but to comply with Hobo Uncle's incitement. Shi Shang tried his best to control his killing intent and put himself in the position of a spar. Having stayed in the cultivation world for so long, Shi Shang was much more proficient in using spirit energy than Qin Langyue. Moreover, she'd even combined some of the cultivation world spells and created some of her own moves. Qin Langyue couldn't even last 10 moves before losing. Qin Langyue knew that she'd already done her best. This girl is really strong. I'm not her match right now. Shi Shang shrugged at Hobo Uncle. Can I leave now, teacher? Luckily, the female lead didn't have any killing intent. Otherwise, she really didn't know how she'd end up today. Hobo Uncle was about to nod when a burst of spirit energy descended from the sky and landed beside his feet. Shi Shang was affected by the air current and was forced to take a few steps back. Yi Tiannan, as a teacher, you actually dare to bully a new student? A deep voice came from above. As the voice fell, a figure stepped through the air, so fast that it left behind after images. He landed in front of Qin Langyue in a few steps. Little girl, are you all right? What nonsense are you spouting, you old fart? When did I bully a new student? Hobo Uncle instantly exploded. Yaoguang, did you bully a new student just now? Shi Shang, who'd been called out. What does this have to do with me? Shi Shang took a deep breath and calmly said, We were just sparring. Before Shi Shang could finish speaking, Zhongxi cut her off. Humph, who doesn't know that you two are on the same side? Little girl from the Shen family, don't be too flamboyant. Restrain yourself. Shi Shang, who'd been called out again, BBB, haven't even started being flamboyant yet, so why are you, BBB, throwing the blame at me, BBB? Shi Shang sneered. The aura around her suddenly changed, becoming fierce and flamboyant. So what if I'm flamboyant? I have the right to be flamboyant, so why should I restrain myself? Her expression was arrogant, but her eyes were as calm as still water. Yet, for some reason, they gave off a feeling of contempt and disdain. Well said, Yaoguang. Hobo Uncle didn't seem to sense the change in Shi Shang's aura and gave Shi Shang an exaggerated round of applause. Zhongxi was first stunned by the sudden change in Shi Shang's aura. In that instant, he felt as if the person standing in front of him wasn't a little girl who wasn't even 20 years old, but an experienced expert. How could a little girl have such an aura? When he tried to sense it again, he didn't feel that way anymore. All he felt was her extraordinary arrogance. As expected, it was an illusion. Little girl from the Shen family, it's true that you're strong, but there are countless people who are stronger than you. Let me give you a word of advice. Don't be too arrogant. There's always someone better than you. Oh. Shi Shang paused. Suddenly, she pursed her lips and smiled faintly. Full of malice, she said, Then I'll be the one who's stronger than you. Asterisk pleading for votes. Here's a new chapter of your praises for me yesterday. If you praise me, there will be more chapters. I wonder how many people like fantasy. Ha ha ha. If you don't like it, please wait for the next teleportation array. Chapter 181. Heaven Beyond Heaven? Outsiders? Zhongxi had completely lost his patience with this arrogant girl. Does she think that being a heaven beyond heaven is something she can just talk about? There were so many experts in the 9-province continent, but none of them dared to say that they could be a heaven beyond heaven. Yaoguang's ideals are great. Hobo Uncle looked at Shi Shang with a gratified expression. Believe in yourself, you can do it. Shi Shang, he didn't really want to see this Hobo Uncle. Yi Tiannan, you'll teach her to be useless sooner or later. Zhongxi disagreed with Yi Tiannan's teaching methods. Even if he didn't teach her to be useless, she would still be someone who didn't know how to restrain herself. In the 9-province continent, those who didn't know how to restrain themselves didn't live long. Old fart, mind your own business. How I teach her is my business. Hobo Uncle snorted. You don't know what's good for you. Zhongxi snorted and turned to Qin Langyue. Little girl, are you all right? Did he bully you? Tell me if he did. You're my disciple now, so I'll get justice for you. Qin Langyue looked at Shi Shang, then at Hobo Uncle. After a while, she shook her head. No. Don't be afraid of them, this academy doesn't belong to Yi Tiannan. Zhongxi thought that Qin Langyue was afraid, so he couldn't help but raise his voice. I'm talking about this instructor. Shi Shang said with a mocking expression. Junior sister already said that she didn't bully us. Do you really want her to say that we bullied her? Do you think that everyone here is blind? Even if you want to frame someone, that's not how you do it. Zhongxi's expression changed slightly. That wasn't what he meant. How could it be misinterpreted like this? For a moment, the new student didn't know whether to testify for Shi Shang or remain silent. After all, this didn't seem like a good thing. You old thing, you're actually so vicious. Hobo Uncle's mind turned and he flew into a rage. Come. Today, I'll beat you until you can't find your bearings. Shi Shang didn't know if Zhongxi could find his bearings, but Hobo Uncle definitely couldn't. Yao Guang, you have to work hard. In the future. Ouch. Yao Guang, be gentle. It hurts. In the future, you must beat that old bastard to death. I'm so angry. Shi Shang pretended not to hear anything and quickly finished applying medicine for Yi Tiannan. He knew he couldn't win, yet he still went up to fight. What af** king retard. With such a suicidal mentor, it was only natural that Shen Yaoguang would do the same. Yaoguang, you're my hope. Don't disappoint me. Hobo looked at Shi Shang expectantly. Shi Shang's mouth twitched. Tutor, I won't let you down, but you have to survive until then. Don't court death. You damned girl, what are you talking about? How can I die before that old bastard? The toe-digging man said with a straight face. It's hard to say. Jun Hanlin recognized Shen Yaoguang, but he was currently an idiot with a low IQ, so he naturally couldn't call out her name. He could only call out innocently, Big sister, I can't go down. Big sister, your grandpa. I'm younger than you, okay? Idiot. Oh. Then how did you get up here? Shi Shang revealed a smile. Her pitch-black eyes were dotted with tiny bits of light. But when she looked into them, she couldn't feel any warmth or ripples. Jun Hanlin was flabbergasted. This Shen Yaoguang was completely different from the Shen Yaoguang he knew. But soon, Jun Hanlin stopped hesitating. He was a member of the royal family, so he naturally knew that the descendants of the big families all wore masks. The side they showed might not be their true side. They threw me up here, Jun Hanlin said, aggrieved. Jun Hanlin was indeed thrown up here. Apart from his title as a prince, he was sometimes worse than an ordinary person. Then do you want to go down? Shi Shang approached Jun Hanlin, her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled very gently. Yes. Jun Hanlin nodded. Big sister, can you bring me down? Of course. Shi Shang nodded. A sense of unease rose in Jun Hanlin's heart. He watched as Shi Shang approached him, bent over, grabbed his arm, and with a tug, flipped him off the roof. The scene on the roof was reflected in his eyes. The girl's expression was indifferent. Her clothes fluttered in the wind, and her hair danced in the wind. She was tall and slender, like a goddess. The white light behind her was so blinding that it was hard to open one's eyes. Everyone was acting cool. Please vote. Chapter 182. Host, why do you have to attract so much hatred? The system couldn't help but ask. Can't she just quietly complete a mission? Life can't be too peaceful. Because then you won't be able to act cool, right? I'd rather keep quiet. It's better to be a cold and aloof system. Sooner or later, I'll be angered to death by my host. Thump. Jun Hanlin crashed into the crowd and landed in front of the female lead. With so many people around, he couldn't even raise his head to look at the ceiling, so he could only pretend to cry out in pain. Seventh brother. How did you? The third prince pointed upwards, unable to hold back his laughter. How did you fall from the sky? Is this the so-called heaven-sent match? Seventh brother and eldest Miss Qin really are a perfect match. The crowd burst into laughter at the third prince's words, and all sorts of malicious gazes fell on Jun Hanlin and Qin Langyue. No one cared about why June Hanlon had fallen from the sky. An idiot and an idiot, a perfect match. Don't you think so, everyone? Qin Langyue coldly glared at the crowd, her eyes filled with killing intent. At that moment, she felt a weight on her clothes. Someone was hugging her legs. Ouch, 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 don't hit me. June Hanlon hugged Qin Langyue tightly. Seventh brother, you're so impatient. Ha ha ha, don't worry, this prince will fulfill your wish. I'll go to the palace and ask Imperial Father to annul my engagement with eldest Miss Qin. The third prince had been worrying about finding a good excuse. This engagement had been set by the late emperor, so he didn't dare to ask Imperial Father for help without a good reason. But now, what if the seventh prince and Qin Langyue were having an affair? Qin Langyue cursed inwardly when she heard the third prince's words. She wanted to annul the engagement, but she had to be the one to say it. However, the third prince didn't give her a chance to speak and hurriedly left with his entourage. The crowd kicked the third prince while he was down before dispersing. June Hanlon was still hugging Qin Langyue tightly. Shishang clicked his tongue twice. He could only sigh at Lord Plotline's power. Just a single opportunity and the male and female leads were bound together. She didn't know what method the third prince used, but he really broke off the engagement and transferred it to June Hanlon. June Hanlon was someone who had endured humiliation for so many years, so he naturally wouldn't object to it. Ever since someone told him that Qin Langyue was his future wife, he'd been following her around all day. In the plot, when they met, the male lead wasn't an idiot. So, without knowing that the male lead was actually normal, how could the female lead fall in love with the male lead? No. Go away. You beasts will die a horrible death. Ah. Go away, let go of me, let go of me. The sound of the woman's struggle penetrated the quiet forest and fell into Shishang's ears. She tilted her head and looked at the source of the sound. Under a tree not far away, 2 or 3 youths were holding down a young girl, laughing as they tore off her clothes. The girl looked somewhat familiar. Shishang thought for a while before matching her with the girl Qin Langyue had protected on the day of the academy's registration. If I remember correctly, her name was Qin Kue, a branch family member of the Qin family. Qin Langyue had brought her along because she'd always treated Qin Langyue well. Ugh. This scene seemed to be about Qin Kue being humiliated to death, and Qin Langyue going berserk and punishing the group of debauches. Shishang changed his position and propped up his chin as he watched the atrocity below. There was no sympathy or schadenfreude in his dark eyes, only a calm as still water. The girl's cries grew softer and softer, and eventually, there was no more sound. The debauches realized that something was amiss. They examined the girl's corpse, which was still lingering on despite her already dead body. In the end, they left the girl covered in stains and bruises and swaggered off. Shishang jumped down from the tree just as Qin Langyue happened to be running over from the other side. The two of them came face to face. Qin Langyue turned her head and saw the girl lying on the ground. Her expression changed. Qin Kue. There was another youth with Qin Langyue. His entire body exuded a cold aura, like a treasured sword. It was Zhang Mu, the female lead's first follower. Shishang only glanced at him before shifting her gaze away. She turned to leave, but the youth suddenly blocked her path. Shan Yaoguang. Qin Langyue covered the girl's naked body and rushed over murderously. Who did this? Fuck. Female lead, you're awesome. You even dare to call me by my name. Shishang took a step back, a mocking expression on his face. How would I know who did this? Qin Langyue questioned him loudly. How could you not know that you're here? Did you order someone to do this? I was just passing by. Shishang's face suddenly revealed a malicious smile. If I had ordered someone to do this, I'd make sure you wouldn't even see the corpse. Qin Langyue's pupils shrank. What's wrong with this Shen Yaoguang? She's so evil. Qin Langyue looked at Qin Kue, then at Shishang. She suddenly asked in a stern voice, Did you see everything? I saw everything. The process wasn't very pleasant to look at. Then why didn't you save her? Qin Langyue suddenly lost control of her emotions. You saw everything, so why didn't you save her? She's still so young, she still has a long way to go. You could have saved her with just a few words, so why? What's Shen Yaoguang's status in the academy? Who dares to disobey her? But she didn't save her. Qin Kuei was the only person in this world who had treated her without any reservations. Qin Langyue had already treated her as family. But now, she was being humiliated to death, and there was a person standing in front of her who didn't save her and acted as if it was only right and proper. The corner of Shi Shang's lips lifted slightly, forming a beautiful arc. Why should I save her? Why should I save her? Who's Qin Kuei? She's just a stranger. Why should I save her? Saving someone is out of kindness, but not saving someone is out of duty. Is it wrong not to save someone? Moral blackmail means nothing to Shi Shang. Not to mention that I don't know Qin Kuei, I won't save her just because she's the female lead's person. Shen Yaoguang, how can you be so ruthless? Qin Langyue clenched her fists tightly as she glared at Shi Shang. Traces of hatred could be seen in her eyes. It's all because I didn't save her that Qin Kuei died. So what? Even if you're not ruthless, there'll always be someone more ruthless than you. How can someone like you deserve to be called a genius? Qin Langyue sneered. As expected, none of these people from big families are good. Shi Shang looked at Qin Langyue in confusion. She was an assassin, so she'd seen her fair share of despicable acts. Even if she wasn't used to this world, she should still understand that this was a world where the strong were respected. It's only right and proper for me to kill someone, but it's intolerable for others to kill someone else? On what basis? Isn't it all for my own purposes? Whether I'm worthy or not, I'm still a genius. Shi Shang shamelessly boasted. Qin Langyue choked on her words, unable to say a single word. Asterisk, acting cute and begging for votes. Come on. Let's hurt each other. If you throw your votes at me, I'll definitely catch them. Let me touch you guys, ha ha ha. Chapter 183. In the end, Qin Langyue found out who had insulted Qin Kuei that day. Just like in the original plot, she crippled their family jewels, but that also led to the retaliation of their families. Although she managed to avoid them every time, it was always a narrow escape. The male lead would add fuel to the fire from time to time, making her life miserable. Shi Shang felt that it was so hard for her. If you don't have the ability to clean up your tail, why do you have to do it? Idiot! Why are you following me? Scram! Qin Langyue gave Jun Hanlin a hard shove. She was challenged today and almost died, but this idiot was still causing trouble for her. Jun Hanlin staggered from the shove. Killing intent flashed in his eyes as he lowered his head, but when he raised his head again, he returned to that stupid look. He crawled up from the ground. Wife, don't be angry. I'll help you beat up the bad guys. Qin Langyue was so angry that she laughed. What kind of bad guys can a fool like you beat up? Stop following me. Qin Langyue left with large strides, leaving Jun Hanlin standing alone in the same spot. When Qin Langyue's figure disappeared from his sight, the foolish expression on his face immediately disappeared, replaced by a sharp and cold gaze as he stared in the direction she had left. Oh, you're not pretending to be a fool anymore? Jun Hanlin's heart skipped a beat as he whipped his head around. A few steps away from him, a young girl stood with her arms crossed in front of her chest. Her pink lips were slightly raised, and her eyes were filled with indifference. Flowers complimented people, and people complimented flowers. People were prettier than flowers. It's her. He hadn't even settled the score with her for throwing him off last time, but now she delivered herself to his doorstep. So you did know. Jun Hanlin didn't pretend to be a fool. He sized up Shi Shang with a wicked look. I didn't expect the eldest miss of the Shen family to be so secretive. Shen Yaoguang isn't secretive at all. Hasn't her trump card always been openly displayed? Why was Shen Yaoguang being praised so much? Firstly, it was because of her innate talent. Secondly, it was because the Shen family was adding fuel to the fire. But the second was the main point. As Shi Shang had said, without the Shen family, no matter how talented Shen Yaoguang was, she could only be slaughtered. The Shen family did give Shen Yaoguang capital, but the Shen family had always treated Shen Yaoguang as a commodity. They were constantly calculating her value and how much benefit she could bring to the family. You know your place very well. June Hanlin's eyes were full of admiration. He liked women who knew their place. Self-awareness? Sorry, I don't have any. Shi Shang sneered. I was talking about the old Shen Yaoguang. I'm not the old Shen Yaoguang who was manipulated by others. June Hanlin's gaze instantly turned sharp, and the surrounding temperature dropped inch by inch. What do you think? Shi Shang's eyelashes fluttered as he said in a clear voice, What do you think the royal family will do if they find out that you're playing dumb? You don't have the ability to go against the royal family yet, do you? June Hanlin's heart was beating wildly, but his expression didn't change. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you to silence you? You're welcome to kill me at any time. Shi Shang looked like he was asking for a beating. June Hanlin's heart was already filled with murderous intent. This woman couldn't be left alive. Just as he was about to make a move, he suddenly heard voices in the distance. June Hanlin weighed his options. Shen Yaoguang, you'd better keep your mouth shut. My mouth is on my body. Can you sew it up for me? Shi Shang continued to provoke him. The voices in the distance were getting closer and closer. June Hanlin could only give Shi Shang a cold warning glare, then quickly ran into the distance and disappeared from Shi Shang's sight. June Hanlin wanted to kill Shi Shang, but Shi Shang turned around and revealed that June Hanlin wasn't a fool. His hatred was at max. June Hanlin wanted to break into the Shen family and kill Shi Shang to vent his anger. This woman really dared to reveal it. What he regretted the most was that he didn't kill that woman directly that day. Even if someone came, he could just kill them all. Third Prince and the other members of the royal family were very concerned about whether he was a fool or not. June Hanlin ruined his own image several times before he managed to get away with it. But he knew that those people wouldn't be as lax as before, which would make his future operations more difficult. Master, Shen Yaoguang has been in the Shen family recently and hasn't come out. Do you think everything will be fine if you hide in the Shen family? June Hanlin snorted. He turned around and said to the person kneeling on the ground, The Shen family is too arrogant. Shen Yaoguang, since you use the Shen family as your backing, I'll remove your backing first. That person was stunned at first, then he cupped his hands. This subordinate understands. June Hanlin secretly planned to destroy the Shen family and kill Shi Shang. However, Shi Shang didn't take it seriously and still hung around the school all day. Probably because she was too bored, she actually started a fight without saying a word. As Shi Shang's mentor, Yi Tiannan, the big guy, felt very stifled. It was really a strange experience to have to go to the Hall of Penal Law every day to redeem someone. Yaoguang, be a bit more obedient and don't cause trouble for me, okay? The big guy said earnestly. A group of lunatics will be coming in a few days. We have to keep a low profile. Lunatics? What lunatics? Shi Shang skipped the first part of Yi Tiannan's sentence. Have you heard of 9 Silences Hall? Hey, even a 3-year-old knows about it. You definitely know about it. Shi Shang. Isn't that the villain's faction? The people of the continent might not know who the ruler of the 9-province continent was, but they definitely didn't know about Bu Jingyun of 9 Silences Hall. In a few days, people from 9 Silences Hall will be coming to the school. They say it's a spar, but they're actually here to kill. Keep a low profile and don't show your face in the next few days. Otherwise, if that old bastard Zhong Shi makes things difficult for you, even I won't be able to redeem you. Ever since 9 Silences Hall became famous, they would come to the 9-province academy to spar every 3 years. At first, it was really just a spar. However, as 9 Silences Hall grew stronger and stronger, the 9-province academy was beaten to a pulp. Later on, it evolved into 9 Silences Hall's triennial event in the wild. The number of heads and beauties dropped was n times. The 9 Provinces Academy could only swallow their grievances. Who asked their own people to be so useless that they couldn't defeat the other party? Not accept. Haha, do they want to be wiped out? Shi Shang thought back to the original plot. That did seem to be the case. But this time, the female lead was here. The female lead beat 9 Silences Hall up, and it was here that they started their feud. Is Bu Jingyun coming? Him. That lunatic hasn't stepped out of 9 Silences Hall for 100 years. Why would he come? It should be one of 9 Silences Hall's enforcers. A lunatic raised a bunch of lunatics. Either way, they're not easy to deal with. A lunatic raised a bunch of lunatics. Yi Tiannan, if you talk like that, you'll be beaten up by a bunch of lunatics. Yao Guang, let me tell you, 9 Silences Hall's people are not to be trifled with. For the next few days, you'd better be a quiet beauty. Shi Shang. What a trendy guy. She had said this in front of him before, so he could use it flexibly. From Yi Tiannan, Shi Shang learned a lot of things that weren't in the original plot. Bu Jingyun was only 25 years old when he became famous. 100 years had passed since then. A cultivator's lifespan would increase after breaking through to the Spirit Emperor realm. The average age of a cultivator on the continent was 200 years old. 100 years old was a bit old. Bu Jingyun was still an otaku. Unless 9 Silences Hall was burned to the ground, he would never step out of it. Asterisk, did they vote today? Chapter 184. 9 Silences Hall's face-slapping was definitely a big deal, so the Academy expressed its full attention. Shi Shang really didn't cause any trouble, but he still made things difficult for her. After receiving the news, Toe-Digging Man immediately went to fight with Zhong Shi, but he was naturally beaten back. Yao Guang, I've let you down. Toe-Digging Man's face was filled with sorrow, as if Shi Shang had gone to his death. Oh, fine. In their eyes, he was indeed going to his death. 9 Silences Hall's martial prowess wasn't something their 9 Province Academy could compare to. If you couldn't beat them, even if you were a local tyrant, you'd still have to hold it in. You should also put one on Qin Langyue. What are you crying for? Every teacher has a quota. Those who are chosen. Haha, just consider yourself unlucky. You can die peacefully. The rest are decided by a collective vote. You've been voted on? Then you can only blame yourself for being unpopular. But Toe-Digging Man looked like a little wife. I've already used up my quota. Shi Shang. This idiot. Although Toe-Digging Man didn't vote, Qin Langyue was still voted on by the collective vote, becoming a member of the Suicide Squad. On the day 9 Silences Hall arrived, the entire academy seemed to be immersed in an oppressive mood. The other party was here to slap their faces. Just thinking about it made them unhappy. How could the atmosphere not be oppressive? Shi Shang didn't go to the front to watch the show. She was killing people. Kill who? I don't know who sent them, but since they've delivered themselves to my doorstep, it'd be a waste not to kill them. Shi Shang wielded the iron sword, killing with all his might. The iron sword had drunk blood and was now glowing with a strange red light. As he swung it, the red light flickered in the air. Shi Shang finished off the last person and kicked him aside. The man's eyes widened in disbelief, as if he couldn't believe that he'd died just like that. Shi Shang glanced at the iron sword, then squatted down and wiped the blade clean. The blood on the iron sword faded, returning it to its normal appearance. There were only 2 people who came to kill her, so it was quite convenient to dispose of the corpses. She dragged one in each hand and walked into the depths of the forest. The 9 Provinces Academy occupied a large area. Just this forest alone was enough to make people dizzy. Shi Shang threw the man into the depths of the forest, clapped his hands, and prepared to leave. As soon as she turned around, she was met with a pair of pitch-black eyes. The owner of the eyes was standing right behind her without making a sound. He was dressed in a bright red robe and was very eye-catching. What the F***ck? Walking without making any sound, not even the slightest bit of breath. Was he a ghost? Shi Shang reflexively drew his sword and slashed at the man. The man floated to the other side like a ghost. He was really floating, and his speed was very fast. His red robe made a slight sound in the air. Hidden mission. Spend the rest of your life together. Shi Shang's iron sword missed its target and hit a nearby tree. Gotcha! 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 The tree fell down, startling the birds on the treetops and causing them to flutter away. Mission target. Bu Jingyun. Spend the rest of our lives together. Literal meaning. Shi Shang did not react. He did not even complain in his heart. The system was a little puzzled, so it asked a question. Host, you're not complaining anymore? I don't feel like complaining today. Shi Shang sheathed his sword and glanced at the red figure not far away. He was floating above the two corpses she threw away. She watched as he raised his hand. A cloud of white mist floated out of the two corpses and was quickly sucked into his palm. Shi Shang. Not only was he a lunatic, but he was also a lunatic who practiced evil arts. What happened to being an otaku? Why was he here? F***ck. Wouldn't she have to raise a lunatic like him in the future? After Bu Jingyun withdrew his hand, the two corpses on the ground quickly turned into dust, leaving only two sets of clothes behind. He turned his head and looked at Shi Shang. Bu Jingyun's face was so beautiful that it could turn the world upside down, and he was wearing a red robe. If one did not look closely, they would think that he was a great beauty. What are you doing? Shi Shang took a step back. Why was this bastard looking at her like she was food? Shi Shang tightened his grip on his iron sword. If this bastard dared to move, she would cut him into pieces. Hall Master? The Hall Master is here. A few figures appeared out of nowhere and swarmed toward Bu Jingyun. Hall Master, why are you randomly eating again? Hall Master, please spit it out. Shi Shang was dumbfounded as he watched the few people frantically press down on Bu Jingyun and force the two clouds of white mist out of his palm. Such disgraceful behavior should be dragged out and beheaded. However, Bu Jingyun did not react. He simply allowed the people to tidy up his robes. Take them back. Bu Jingyun suddenly pointed a finger at Shi Shang. The group of people moved in unison and looked at Shi Shang with pity in their eyes. Two of them approached Shi Shang. Miss, it's your fortune to have the Hall Master looking at you. Don't worry, we'll make it up to your family. Shi Shang. She did not want this kind of fortune. Thank you to your entire family. Shi Shang raised his iron sword and swung it at them. Take them back. Take them back, my ass. Did they think she was a lab rat? Shi Shang was going all out, leaving no room for maneuver. Moreover, her attacks were very tricky. The two people were already lying on the ground before they could even see how Shi Shang attacked. When there was a disparity in strength, speed was the key to a contest. Shi Shang looked at Bu Jingyun sinisterly, then suddenly dashed toward the people around him. The remaining people were shocked. Protect the Hall Master. There were too many people, and Shi Shang's strength could not keep up. She took out a small purple ball that stored lightning, lured the few people to the side, and threw it directly at their feet. Bang! Bang! The ground trembled, startling a flock of birds. Shi Shang took the opportunity to sneak to Bu Jingyun's side. He took care of the person guarding Bu Jingyun, then dragged him onto his iron sword and flew out of the forest. Bu Jingyun tried to resist, but before he could do anything, Shi Shang pinned him down. Don't move if you're injured. Be careful, or I'll kill you. When those people pinned Bu Jingyun down, she saw that Bu Jingyun wanted to resist, but he did not seem to have the strength. However, he was still able to float, which meant that he was not without cultivation. That meant that he was injured. Bu Jingyun glared at Shi Shang. Do you know who I am? I don't care who you are. Right now, I'm going to take you and make you my husband. Be a good boy, or I'll kill you. Shi Shang patted Bu Jingyun's cheek. When we get back, I'll feed you some medicine so you don't run around. That's a great idea. I really do like this kind of lawless playing. The system was about to faint from crying. Bu Jingyun had never been so humiliated since he became famous. This woman kept saying that she wanted him to be her husband, but she kept threatening to kill him at the slightest provocation. She even treated him so roughly. Guards, I'm going to chop this woman to death. Asterisk yesterday's tips from the babies, yes, that's right. I'm here to ask for tickets again. I'll roll around, so give me your tickets. I'll roll back and forth. Chapter 185. The people from Nine Silences Hall were still exchanging pleasantries with the representatives from the academy. The meeting between the two sides was a success, and there was no bloodshed. Suddenly, a dark figure ran over from afar. Enforcer, bad news. The hall master has been taken away. That dark figure scrambled to the front of a tall and burly man. Protector, the palace lord has been snatched away. The people from Nine Provinces Academy exchanged glances. The hall master? Bu Jingyun? He's actually here, and he's been taken away. Which senior is so awesome? By who? The enforcer grabbed the man. How did you protect the hall master? The hall master. He abruptly stopped talking and glanced at the people from the Nine Provinces Academy. Suppressing the anxiety in his heart, he nodded to the people from the Nine Provinces Academy and said, I have some personal matters to attend to. We will arrive on time in 3 days. Is there anything we can help with? The dean asked hypocritically, but the gloating in his eyes betrayed his true feelings. That lunatic Bu Jingyun finally had a day like this. How satisfying! Thank you for your concern, Dean. We can handle it ourselves, the enforcer said coldly. Let's go. The enforcer immediately exploded when he led the people from Nine Silences Hall out of Nine Provinces Academy's territory. Where are the others? How did the hall master get taken away? How did you protect the hall master? The man was a little confused by the series of questions. What about me? Who took the hall master? Where did they go? The enforcer was so angry that he wanted to hit the man, but he quickly retracted his hand when he saw the dark figure on the man's body. I don't know, the man said weakly. When the explosion happened, he wasn't standing very close to the front, so he barely escaped with his life. That little girl was already there when they arrived. Who knew who she was? I don't know. The enforcer's chest heaved. This time, he slapped the man on the head. If you can't find the hall master, I'll take your life. At this time, Bu Jingyun was being brought to a small house by Shi Sheng. The Shi Sheng had bought this house recently. He had planned to live in it after destroying the Shen clan, but he didn't expect it to come in handy so soon. Shi Sheng tied Bu Jingyun to a chair and circled around him. Suddenly, he reached out to take off Bu Jingyun's clothes. What are you doing? Bu Jingyun's expression changed drastically as he shrank back. This noble would rather die than submit. Shi Sheng grabbed his collar and glared at him. Don't move. Bu Jingyun. Someone come. I want to chop this hateful woman into pieces. Shi Sheng quickly removed Bu Jingyun's clothes before stroking his chin in satisfaction. You're a man. Why are you wearing red? You're an eyesore. Bu Jingyun. What's wrong with wearing red? He liked it. Give him back his clothes. Shi Sheng produced several bottles and jars out of thin air and pushed them in front of Bu Jingyun. Here, you choose. We'll eat whatever you like. Bu Jingyun glanced at the bottles and jars. Spirit-severing powder, ghost cry pill, heaven underworld, rising from the ashes, myriad reincarnation. These names were obviously poisons. This woman actually wants me to choose? Don't worry, these are not fatal. You just need to take the antidote regularly, otherwise you'll die. As long as you stay by my side obediently, we can talk about the antidote. Shi Sheng pushed the bottles and jars in front of Bu Jingyun again. Choose. Bu Jingyun took a deep breath and stubbornly turned his head away. I'm not choosing. You're really not choosing? I'm not choosing. When this noble one's army arrives, he'll capture this woman and cut her into 1,000 pieces. Then let's eat together. Shishang casually picked up a porcelain bottle and uncapped it. Then, he pinched Bu Jingyun's chin and poured the contents into his mouth. Bu Jingyun was stunned. Why is this woman so unpredictable? Won't I die if I eat all these things together? I definitely will. Ugh. Bu Jingyun shook his head. His beautiful face was dyed with an unnatural red, and his eyes were as cold as black jade. I choose. Too late. Shishang directly poured the contents of the porcelain bottle into Bu Jingyun's mouth. After making sure that Bu Jingyun swallowed it, he continued to pour the contents into his mouth. I let you choose, but you didn't. Now you want to choose again? You think it's that easy? These poisons may sound vicious, but they're actually not fatal. Eating all of them won't be a big deal. Shishang released Bu Jingyun and untied him. Bu Jingyun clutched his chest and coughed violently. Cough, cough. He tried to spit out the contents, but nothing came out except some saliva. He abruptly raised his head and reached out to strangle Shishang's neck. Shishang didn't dodge. Instead, he said arrogantly, "Kill me if you don't want to live anymore." Bu Jingyun's grip tightened slightly. Shishang felt a little uncomfortable breathing, but the iron sword suddenly appeared out of nowhere and slapped his hand away. Then, it pressed down on his neck and forced him to sit down on a chair. Bu Jingyun. Didn't you say that you'd kill me if I don't want to live anymore? You want to kill me with your current strength? Dream on. Shishang sheathed his sword and patted Bu Jingyun's head. Be a good boy. Even if you want this continent, I'll give it to you. These lines. Shouldn't he be the one saying them? Why would a girl say something like that? Bu Jingyun glanced at Shishang, then lowered his head and stopped resisting. There was no one else in the house, and Shishang didn't want to cook, so he had to go out and buy some. Bu Jingyun didn't know if he wanted to run after eating or if he had other plans in mind, but he did whatever Shishang asked him to do. That night, Shishang let Bu Jingyun sleep on the bed while he slept on the couch next to him. Shishang looked at the Medicine King cauldron, then caught sight of Bu Jingyun with his back to her. He jumped off the couch and climbed onto the bed. Bu Jingyun sensed that someone was on the bed. He immediately rolled inwards and looked at Shishang warily. What do you want? Shishang half knelt on the bed and rolled his eyes inelegantly. Sir Bu Jingyun, if I really want to do something to you, do you think you can resist? If I really want to do something to you, do you think you can resist? Idiot. Bu Jingyun frowned and sat up. What do you want? I want to take care of you and grow old together, Shishang said without hesitation. You like me? Bu Jingyun's frown deepened. I don't. If you don't like me, then why do you want to take care of me and grow old together? Bu Jingyun was about to go crazy. Was there something wrong with this woman? I just want to take care of you, Shishang said with an honest face. You're pretty. Bu Jingyun. Was it because of his looks again? But this woman didn't seem like such a shallow person. Bu Jingyun couldn't figure out Shishang's intentions, so he pursed his lips and didn't say anything. When my army arrives, I'll capture this woman and let her have a taste of what it means to be taken care of. Asterisk, please take care of me. Who's going to take care of me? Yesterday's gifts from the babies were updated. Chapter 186. Shishang placed the Medicine King cauldron in front of Bu Jingyun. This is for you. Bu Jingyun's pupils constricted as he stared at the black cauldron. He took the cauldron and examined it for a while. Is this the Medicine King cauldron? Yes, do you like it? Shishang changed his sitting position, a cool and flirtatious expression on his face. It's a divine artifact. Not only did she not know what the Medicine King cauldron was, but she also said that she was giving it to him. Could it be a fake? I don't know that it's a divine artifact. Do I need you to tell me? Idiot. Shishang took a deep breath and said coolly, if you like it, take it. If you don't, throw it away. Bu Jingyun. Throw away a divine artifact just like that? Does your family know that you're such a spendthrift? Shishang got off the bed and lay back on the couch. Bu Jingyun's gaze was fixed on her. Shishang was a little irritated. What are you looking at? I'll dig your eyes out if you keep looking. Bu Jingyun. No wonder she's reduced to snatching men. He turned over and lay back down. Who wants to look at her? Humph. Bu Jingyun didn't know when he fell asleep, but when he woke up, the room was still pitch black. He subconsciously turned over to look at the soft couch. There was no one on the couch. He immediately woke up and jumped off the bed. He looked around but didn't sense anyone. Where did that woman go? Bang! There was the sound of a heavy object falling to the ground outside the door, followed by silence. Bu Jingyun opened the door and went out. The first thing he saw was a black figure standing in the courtyard. She was holding an iron sword in her hand, which seemed to be stained with something black. There were a few corpses lying around her feet, and the thick stench of blood assaulted his nostrils. She slowly turned her head. The expression on her face was a little strange. It was like the coldness of death and darkness, but also like the excitement of slaughter and bloodshed. However, in the next second, her expression suddenly softened. It was as if a pool of stagnant water had suddenly been poured into a clear spring, slowly moving. You came just in time. Hurry up and help me destroy their corpses. Just when I was worrying about how to dispose of the corpse, the scavenger came to me. Villains are simply a must-have when it comes to killing and robbing. Bu Jingyun. Was he there to destroy the evidence? Bu Jingyun slammed the door shut angrily. There was no way he was going to destroy this woman's corpse. Shishang. What a bad temper. Shishang looked at the corpse on the ground with a conflicted expression. Ah, so troublesome. Forget it, I'll just throw it away first. Thus, when Bu Jingyun came out the next day, he saw the untouched corpse. His grip on the door tightened, and the expression on his face changed again and again. This woman. He actually left the corpse here. Bu Jingyun slammed the door shut again. Why haven't those idiots found me yet? I'm so angry. Shishang had just returned from outside with breakfast in hand. She was dumbfounded when she saw Bu Jingyun slam the door shut with an unfriendly expression. Why is this lunatic throwing a tantrum so early in the morning? However, at that moment, the door opened again. Bu Jingyun's gaze met Shishang's, and he froze in place. A few seconds later, he slammed the door shut again in Shishang's face. Shishang. There's cat biscuits. Shishang walked around the corpse on the ground and pushed the door open. Bu Jingyun was sitting on the bed. When he heard Shishang's voice, he raised his head and glared at her fiercely. Eat. Shishang placed the breakfast on the table. Don't glare at me like that. You can't kill me with that glare. I didn't even say you were old. Are you saying that I'm beautiful? Old? How dare she say I'm old? I'm so angry. Cough, cough. Bu Jingyun suddenly coughed and collapsed onto the bed, his body twitching slightly. Shishang looked at him in confusion at first, then rushed over. However, he only stood by the bed and looked down at Bu Jingyun. That shouldn't be the case. The poison can't act up so quickly. Bu Jingyun gritted his teeth in anger. I'm not suffering from poison. He didn't know where he got the strength from, but he suddenly grabbed Shishang's hand and pulled her onto the bed. He flipped her over and pinned her down. Then, he bit down on her neck. Hiss. Shishang gasped in pain and slapped Bu Jingyun across the face. He lifted his leg and kicked Bu Jingyun away. Then, he clutched his neck and rolled back into the bed. Bu Jingyun didn't give up and tried to grab Shishang again. His eyes were bloodshot like a beast's. Holy shit. This setting is toxic. He's drinking human blood. Shishang easily blocked Bu Jingyun's path. She grabbed his hand and pressed him against the headboard of the bed. Then, she took out a rope from who knows where and tied him to the bed in no time at all. This position was very, ecstatic. Motherfastress cur, how dare you bite I? Shishang clutched his neck and got off the bed. His fingertips rubbed his neck a few times. It was all wet. Was this guy a dog? He actually bled from a single bite. This is pissing me off. Shi Shang casually bandaged his wound and stood by the bed with his iron sword. His gaze was a little sinister. Bu Jingyun seemed to have lost his mind. He just stared at Shi Shang with his bloodshot eyes. Shi Shang's heart was burning with rage. Watch your grandpa. Bu Jingyun only returned to normal when night fell. The scarlet in his eyes faded. The restraints on his hands made him squirm in extreme discomfort. When he looked down, his face darkened. He was actually tied up. And in this shameful position, that woman sat next to him and looked at him with her chin propped up. Let go of me. Bu Jingyun's voice was slightly hoarse. Before he recovered, he was going to tie this woman up and cut her into 1,000 pieces. Humph! Cutting her into 1,000 pieces would be too easy for her. Let go. What if you bite me again? Shi Shang stretched his neck and pointed at the wound that had stopped bleeding. Look, don't you know that you'll be disfigured if you give I such a big bite? Bu Jingyun. Bite my neck. What's there to be disfigured for? He smacked his lips. There was still the taste of blood in his mouth. His stomach churned, and he retched. F***ck, how dare you vomit? Shi Shang pinched Bu Jingyun's chin and raised his head. Are you going to wash it if it gets dirty? Thus, when the people from Nine Silences Hall broke in, they were greeted with this embarrassing scene of forced rape. Hall Master! The enforcer cried out in disbelief. The Hall Master was being treated like this. Shi Shang frowned when he saw the people who broke in. He exploded in anger. Don't you have any manners? Don't you know how to knock before entering? The enforcer. Talking about manners with villains? Girl, are you retarded? However, the enforcer cowered in the next second. Get out and knock. Shi Shang grabbed Bu Jingyun's neck. Or I'll kill him. Bu Jingyun. This lunatic. I'm going to return to Nine Silences Hall and never come out again. The continent is too scary. Asterisk pleading for votes. 900 recommendation votes and more. Chapter 187. After the enforcer left the room, he knocked on the door and came back in, only to see the valiant woman untying his hall master. She even thoughtfully threw a blanket over his body. The enforcer was dumbfounded. He didn't understand what had happened between the hall master and this strange woman. Bu Jingyun leaned weakly against the headboard. The enforcer had never been so important to him before. Capture her alive. Bu Jingyun ordered the enforcer, domineeringly. The enforcer's mouth twitched. Lord Hall Master, can't you see the sword in her hand? You'll die with just a little bit of force. Capture her alive. What the hell? Miss. The enforcer took a deep breath and repeatedly told himself to stay calm. He had to stay calm. The hall master was still in her hands. Miss, if you have any requests, we'll agree to anything as long as you release our hall master. Oh. Shi Shang sheathed his sword, got up and walked to the side. I'll return him to you. The enforcer. So easy to talk to. Was she plotting something? He quickly scanned his surroundings but didn't find anything strange. The woman's faint voice sounded in his ears again. Anyway, I've already poisoned him. Without my antidote, he'll die sooner or later. If you're not afraid of him dying, then just take him back. The enforcer quickly looked at Bu Jingyun and asked with his eyes. Hall Master, is she telling the truth? Bu Jingyun turned his head away in anger. The enforcer. The hall master is angry out of humiliation. Then it's true. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down my ass. Our hall master was poisoned. What kind of humiliation is this? I must kill this woman. Dark yellow spiritual energy flashed in the enforcer's hand, and he shot toward Shi Shang. Dense spiritual energy swept across the room like a tidal wave, shattering the furniture in the room. A peak spirit emperor. Damn it, isn't fighting monsters above the female lead's level the only thing she can do? Why does this baby have one too? Stop. Just as Shi Shang was about to use her cheats to beat up the Sentinel's parents, Bu Jingyun suddenly spoke up to stop her. The enforcer was obviously a loyal subordinate. He immediately stopped when Bu Jingyun called out, and the raging spiritual energy in the room suddenly disappeared. Temple Master? The enforcer looked at Bu Jingyun in confusion. Why didn't he kill this woman? Take him back, Bu Jingyun said concisely. This woman dared to treat him like this. How could he let her die so easily? Shi Shang was a little suspicious. Why didn't this enforcer seem worried about Bu Jingyun being poisoned? Plus, Bu Jingyun didn't really care. Side quest. Bu Jingyun's past. Accept by default. Shi Shang. Why are you giving me a side quest at this time? Are you crazy? Shi Shang wished he could slap the system to death. The enforcer and Bu Jingyun exchanged glances for a few seconds. No one knew what they were talking about, but in the end, the enforcer agreed to Bu Jingyun's request to capture Shi Shang alive. Very good. She was right to raise this fellow. Otherwise, she would have to be raised. Shi Shang quickly took out a small ball and threw it at the protector. Bang! The explosion this time wasn't very powerful. Before the enforcer could react, Shi Shang dashed to Bu Jingyun's side, picked him up, and ran. Chase! Get the Hall Master back! The enforcer's angry roar came from behind. Shi Shang had the iron sword as his flying device, so he was much faster than those who walked on two legs. After shaking off the 9 Silences Hall members, they had already left the city and landed in a small forest. Bu Jingyun appeared calm and collected, but the truth was that his heart was boiling with rage like lava. He glared at Shi Shang. Shi Shang smiled nonchalantly. What's wrong with me raising you? I'll give you whatever you want. It's a blessing that others can't get even with several lifetimes of effort. Bu Jingyun. Why did he feel like there was something wrong with those words? I want to go back to 9 Silences Hall. Okay. Shi Shang nodded. Bu Jingyun's eyes darkened. He looked at her in surprise. This girl was becoming more and more difficult to understand. Shi Shang smiled at him. But you'll have to wait until I kill a bunch of little bitches first. Bu Jingyun. Bu Jingyun decided to go with a soft approach. As a villain, he had to endure humiliation. He no longer counted on those idiots. It was better to rely on himself than on others. Once he recovered his cultivation, he could beat her in a matter of minutes. 2 days later, Shi Shang brought Bu Jingyun back to the academy. When the people from 9 Silences Hall saw that Bu Jingyun was unscathed, they were all very excited. However, no one went up to greet him, not even a single person to greet him. Shi Shang discovered that not only were the people of 9 Silences Hall secretly excited, but even the people of the academy were only stunned by Bu Jingyun's appearance. They didn't even see the Hall Master of 9 Silences Hall at all. Hey, why are they acting like they don't know you? Shi Shang poked Bu Jingyun. Bu Jingyun glared at him and slowly said, They've never seen me before, so of course they don't know me. Never seen me before? Bu Jingyun snorted disdainfully. The strongest cultivator here is not even 100 years old. Shi Shang understood. So they're too old. Bu Jingyun had been famous for far too long. After that, these people had only heard of his name. Those who had seen him had either died or died. Therefore, it was normal for them not to recognize him. Shen Yaoguang, if you keep calling me old, I'll kill myself right in front of you. Shi Shang. Bu Jingyun snorted in satisfaction when Shi Shang didn't say anything. She seemed to be afraid of him dying. As long as he said so, she wouldn't speak rudely. Shi Shang's hair stood on end. System, that bastard. Why did it have to randomly add rules for no reason? I'm so angry. Yaoguang, where have you been for the past 2 days? I thought you ran away to avoid punishment. Hobo Uncle popped out of nowhere and grabbed Shi Shang. He started babbling, "Hey, where did you kidnap this beauty from? Is she from our academy? Why haven't I seen her before? Run away to avoid punishment, my ass. Do you even know how to use idioms? Illiterate." The beauty, Bu Jingyun, shot daggers at the toe-digging man. The toe-digging man felt his scalp go numb. He inched closer to Shi Shang and whispered, "Yaoguang, this beauty is so cold." Shi Shang looked at the toe-digging man with pity. "Calling her a beauty? You're courting death. This guy has a strong vengeance. It's about to start. Instructor, why aren't you going over?" Shi Shang glanced at the stage, successfully diverting Yi Tiannan's attention. Yes. I'm here to give you something. Here, take it. This is our academy's treasure. Remember, Yaoguang, don't try to be brave if you can't beat him. Your life is more important." The toe-digging man stuffed a black object into Shi Shang's hand and looked around like a thief. "Don't say I gave it to you. All right, that's all I can help you with. So where did this treasure of the academy come from? Did he steal it?" Needless to say, the toe-digging man was really capable of doing that. Asterisk flips table asterisk. Was he trying to harm her or help her? Was he really not a spy sent by the female lead? Asterisk pleading for votes. La la la. Chapter 188. Bu Jingyun expressed his disdain for the item in Shi Shang's hand. 9 Province Academy is so poor. Shi Shang looked down at the item in his hand. It was round and black, about the size of a palm. There were many patterns engraved on it, probably some kind of talisman array. Judging by Bu Jingyun's disdainful expression, it probably wasn't anything good, so Shi Shang casually shoved it to him. "Bu Jingyun. Am I a recycling bin? Why are you shoving everything at me?" Shi Shang bumped into Qin Langyue on the stage. "Girl, be careful." Zhongxi was instructing Qin Langyue, 9 Silences Hall's people have always been sinister, beware of their underhanded methods. "Nonsense," Bu Jingyun abruptly spat out. Zhongxi and Qin Langyue both looked at Bu Jingyun. When Qin Langyue saw Shi Shang, a murderous aura erupted from her body. Bu Jingyun glanced at her, and Qin Langyue's murderous aura receded like the tide. A hint of surprise flashed through her eyes, but it was quickly suppressed by doubt. She stared at Bu Jingyun thoughtfully. "Little miss from the Shen family, how could you casually bring someone into the academy?" Zhongxi sized up Bu Jingyun, then said with a sullen expression, "Even if you're the academy's most valued disciple, you can't flout the academy's rules like this." Shi Shang shrugged. "Since I've already brought him in, why don't you throw him out? If you dare, those people on the other side will tear you apart." "Humph, I'll deal with you after this is over if you're lucky." As expected, Yi Tiannan's students weren't anything good. I've always been lucky." Shi Shang nodded in agreement. "Zhongxi. Why is this little miss so shameless?" No one knew what Qin Langyue was thinking. Her head was lowered, so no one could see her expression. Zhongxi wasn't as shameless as Shi Shang, so he could only snort and ignore her. After all, the chances of getting off this stage were slim to none. "Why don't you tell them to go easy on the future hallmaster's wife later so I can show off?" Shi Shang negotiated with Bu Jingyun. Bu Jingyun looked at her coldly. "Who said you're my future hallmaster's wife? Shameless." "That's what I said." Shi Shang said matter-of-factly, "If you don't let them go easy on me, then I can only be ruthless. Do you want to see them die, or do you want them to cooperate with me to show off? It's your choice." Bu Jingyun. This despicable woman. Although those idiots were a little stupid, they were still loyal to him. It would be a pity if they died just like that. Bu Jingyun weighed his options, then raised his head to look at the enforcer. The protector immediately received a look from his temple master. No one knew how they communicated, but the protector gave Shi Shang a strange look and turned to the person beside him to give an order. Shi Shang patted Bu Jingyun's chest in satisfaction. "Well done." "Humph." Shi Shang. Flips table. What happened to being a lunatic? Why did he become a tsundere? The plot lied to me again. As the female lead, Qin Langyue naturally had to be the last to enter the stage. That way, she'd be able to look like the hero who turned defeat into victory. But this time, Shi Shang had to show off. Sorry, I'll take care of it. As soon as she entered the stage, the Nine Silences Hall disciple shuddered exaggeratedly, then turned around and left the stage. Apart from those from Nine Silences Hall, everyone else was dumbfounded. What's going on? Why did Nine Silences Hall stop fighting as soon as Senior Sister Yaoguang went up? Some of the people who came up next pretended to attack, but it was too obvious that they were going easy on her. Anyone who wasn't blind could tell. Some of them directly admitted defeat. I'll give 101 points for this show-off. I'm not afraid of being arrogant if I add one more point. Nine Silences Hall didn't bother to explain. After everyone had entered the stage, the protector simply said, I admit defeat this year and will fight again next year. Then, he led his people away. Only Shi Shang was left on the stage. The audience was completely silent. This victory was too illogical. Shen Yaoguang, you colluded with Nine Silences Hall. Someone suddenly shouted from the crowd. The sound was extremely ear-piercing in the silent arena. Shi Shang looked in the direction of the voice. It was actually someone from the Shen family. Colluded with Nine Silences Hall? No way. Why would Senior Sister Yaoguang collude with Nine Silences Hall? Don't talk nonsense. Why would Senior Sister Yaoguang collude with Nine Silences Hall? Our academy has won. Nine Silences Hall didn't attack as soon as Shen Yaoguang went up. What kind of win is this? Why would Senior Sister Yaoguang collude with Nine Silences Hall? Maybe Nine Silences Hall can't beat Senior Sister Yaoguang? After all, Senior Sister is so powerful. Despite the heated argument below the stage, Shi Shang didn't have much of a reaction. Her eyes calmly swept over the crowd before landing on Jun Hanlin, who was seated at the very back. Jun Hanlin gave her a wicked look. Shi Shang's lips lifted as she smiled at Jun Hanlin with curved eyebrows. The male lead was using someone else's knife to kill. Was this how he wanted to deal with her? Or did he want the Shen family to be pressured into isolating her? Jun Hanlin was a little scared by Shi Shang's smile. After filtering through his mind, he didn't find any loopholes. Only then did he feel much more at ease. Silence. Zhongxi's voice spread through the entire arena. Shen Yaoguang, did you collude with Nine Silences Hall? So what if I did, and so what if I didn't? Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. Are you going to attack Nine Silences Hall? These people hated Nine Silences Hall, but they didn't dare do anything when Nine Silences Hall's people came. Not only did they not dare to do anything, but they also had to eat and drink well. It was a classic case of saying no, but their bodies were very honest. Shen Yaoguang, you're a genius nurtured by the academy. How could you collude with Nine Silences Hall? What are your intentions? Someone in the audience couldn't help but speak up again. Did I admit that I colluded with Nine Silences Hall? Shi Shang looked at the person who spoke with a mocking expression. That person choked, but quickly retorted, then why didn't Nine Silences Hall attack you just now? If you didn't collude with Nine Silences Hall, why did they go easy on you? Maybe they couldn't bear to attack me because I'm pretty? If they were willing to go easy on me because of my looks, how could I stop them? Shi Shang narcissistically touched his face and sighed. Is it my fault that I'm pretty? The people below the stage were all speechless. They'd seen narcissistic people before, but they'd never seen someone so narcissistic. Senior Sister Yaoguang is right. Nine Silences Hall's people were willing to go easy on you, so how could you blame Senior Sister Yaoguang? Shen Yaoguang's die-hard fans began to support her. Senior Sister Yaoguang is the prettiest. Senior Sister Yaoguang, we believe in you. Shi Shang is cold-blooded and heartless. He doesn't save people when they're in trouble. He kills and sets fires. He hits people when they're down. He's unreasonable. He's flexible. He's shameless. He's not good for the male lead. He's not good for the male lead. He's not good for the male lead. Early. That's right, this is the female lead setting. But please believe me, this is a pretentious novel. Without experiencing hardships and the passage of time, how could there be love without regret and life and death together? P.S. Different tastes, don't comment on good or bad. Can't you be a kind, cute, beautiful, and intelligent reader? If you want to see a female lead that isn't cold-blooded and heartless, please move over to the next page. You can choose from any type of female lead. Chapter 189. By now, Bu Jingyun had developed some resistance to Shi Shang's shamelessness. Her face could indeed be considered devastatingly beautiful. But if she said that Nine Silences Hall cared about beauty or whatnot, he refused. Was his Nine Silences Hall a place that only cared about appearances? Haha. The crowd below the stage was already roaring. Shi Shang even waved her hand pretentiously like a celebrity, causing many people to want to rush up and beat her up. Bu Jingyun twirled his fingers as his eyes glowed with a dark light. If he wasn't injured, he would be the first to beat this woman to death. Just looking at her was infuriating. Shen Yaoguang, stop being so unreasonable. You have to explain this matter clearly. Zhongxi and Shi Shang were at loggerheads. You old fart, you're getting excited, aren't you? The hooligan who had been silent all this time also jumped out. Our Yaoguang already said that Nine Silences Hall was letting her win. What does it have to do with Yaoguang? If you have the ability, go and confront Nine Silences Hall's people. What's the use of confronting Yaoguang here? Zhongxi's expression turned ugly. If she's innocent, why didn't she explain the matter clearly? Yaoguang has already made it clear. You're the one who's trying to pick a fight with her, aren't you? The hooligan rolled up his sleeves with an agitated expression. I knew you were up to no good. You should come at me directly for our grudges. Just as the two were about to start fighting, the dean, who had been standing in the background all this time, finally stepped forward. The dean was a chubby man. If he were in the modern world, his clothes wouldn't even fit his size. His face was very round, but fortunately, it was quite smooth, so it wasn't very repulsive. However, his eyes were very small. If he smiled, they would disappear. What are you doing in front of so many students? The dean reprimanded. Zhongxi's lips moved, but in the end, he didn't say anything. The hooligan, on the other hand, was itching to beat Zhongxi up. The dean inserted himself between the two and glared at the hooligan with his beady eyes. Yi Tianan, are you still causing trouble? Only then did the hooligan settle down. After dealing with one troublemaker, the dean looked at the other with a stifled heart. Why did he give such a good seedling to Yi Tianan in the first place? Was his brain muddled by sh*t? She was such a good girl, but she had been taught to be like this. Shen Yaoguang, tell me what happened today. The dean's tone was much better, as if he was negotiating with her. After all, she still had the title of young Miss Shen and the halo of a genius. That's how it is. Shi Shang shrugged like a ruffian. Are you going to refuse someone who begs you for something? Bu Jingyun clenched his fists so hard that his fingertips had turned red, and a murderous aura was faintly visible in his eyes. Begging and pestering. Wasn't she the one who threatened him? How could she have the nerve to say that? The dean was so angry that his beard curled up. Shen Yaoguang, speak properly. Why didn't I speak properly? Shi Shang blinked. Which word did you not understand? I'll explain it to you for free. The dean. What the hell was he trying to mediate? He turned his head and glared fiercely at the toe-scratching man. What did he teach him? Did she eat the respect for teachers and elders? Why are you glaring at me? If I really colluded with Nine Silences Hall, do you think you'd still be standing here so calmly? Shi Shang suddenly blurted out. For better or for worse, I brought honor to the academy. Instead of thanking me, you're trying to slander me. How disappointing. She paused for a moment, then continued, If that's the case, then call 9 Silences Hall back for a rematch. It's not like I'll lose face anyway. The crowd immediately boiled over. That's right, no matter what, 9 Provinces Academy had won this time. Although the process was a little strange, the ending was good. Moreover, if Shen Yaoguang really colluded with 9 Silences Hall, why would she ask them to go easy on 9 Provinces Academy? Shi Shang jumped off the stage and walked over to Bu Jingyun. Everyone held their breaths as their gazes swept over the beauty Bu Jingyun, who stood out from the crowd like a crane in a flock of chickens. Call your subordinates back and teach them a lesson. Shi Shang lowered his voice so that only the 2 of them could hear. Bu Jingyun's expression was cold. Why should I? I'm your future wife. Shi Shang cupped his face with a smile. Are you going to watch them bully me? Who was bullying who? Look at the crowd. Which one of them looked like they could bully her? Bu Jingyun's heart ached. His hands clenched and loosened, then tightened. I beg you. Shi Shang suddenly started acting cute, catching everyone off guard. This baby knows when to yield and when to stand tall. Forget acting cute, this baby can even sell his skills, but not his body. This is a matter of principle. Bu Jingyun's ears turned red. He would never admit that he was charmed by Shi Shang's cuteness, never. He quickly averted his gaze. Although he was snorting, his hand had already reached into his sleeve and pulled out a polished jade. He exerted a little force, but the jade didn't react. He exerted more force, but there was still no reaction. Bu Jingyun's ears turned red. He glanced at Shi Shang, then handed the jade to her and said coldly, "Crush it." Shi Shang. So you couldn't crush it just now? Wasn't that a special communication technique? If you can't, then why are you still acting cool? Bad review. Shi Shang took the jade and injected her spiritual energy into it. With a crack, the jade broke into several pieces. Shen Yaoguang, what are you doing? This roar came with the shattering of the jade stone. Shi Shang tossed the jade away, then turned around and smiled at Zhongxi. Didn't you want to fight again? I was helping you call for reinforcements. And you said you weren't in cahoots with 9 Silences Hall. Zhongxi was furious. If you weren't in cahoots with them, then why do you have their contact information? If you say so, then so be it. As long as you're happy. Shi Shang shrugged nonchalantly. Shen Yaoguang. Why are you shouting so loudly? I'm not deaf. Shi Shang dug her ears. If you keep yelling at me, I'll have 9 Silences Hall destroy you. Zhongxi's face was like a color palette, alternating between green and white. It was a beautiful sight. The surrounding people were also intimidated by Shi Shang's words. They all retreated, leaving a large empty space for the 2 of them to fight. Is senior sister Yaoguang really related to 9 Silences Hall? Even if she is, she wouldn't say something like that. She was holding a sound transmission jade just now. Did she really call 9 Silences Hall's reinforcements back? Ah. Bu Jingyun heard the whispers of the crowd from time to time. He glanced sideways and saw the girl standing beside him looking at the stage with a faint smile on her face. It was as if she didn't care about these people's discussions at all. It was as if she was standing in a different world. There was a transparent layer separating her from this world, making her seem out of place, but also very eye-catching. * 900 recommendation votes. Ah, the female lead's acting skills are maxed out. Even I'm scared just looking at it. I suddenly thought, this kind of text, there shouldn't be any other branches. Chapter 190. Just as they were discussing fervently, the people from 9 Silences Hall who had just left returned in a hurry. Since Bu Jingyun was here, they naturally wouldn't go far. The enforcer quickly scanned the surroundings and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that Bu Jingyun was still standing there. Bu Jingyun secretly transmitted a message to the enforcer. The enforcer felt uneasy after hearing the whole thing. Hallmaster, how come you've changed so much after coming out? The dean was drenched in cold sweat. "You're really back?" The enforcer looked at the dean and cleared his throat. "Since you're not convinced, let's do it again." "Dean." "No, I refuse." This time, the dean glared at Zhongxi. "You caused this, so you should settle it. May I ask, enforcer, what's your relationship with Shen Yaoguang?" Zhongxi wasn't afraid of death. Facing the dean's warning gaze, he took a step forward and questioned sternly. The enforcer frowned. What relationship? How was he supposed to answer this? Did he steal their hall master's woman? Enemy? Why should I tell you? Are you going to fight or not? The enforcer couldn't answer and suddenly became angry. If you're not going to fight, then don't waste my time. Do you think everyone is as free as you? Fight, Dean, don't embarrass yourself. Shi Sheng shouted. Don't lose. Otherwise, people will say that you won without a fight. The dean, who was about to refuse, trembled and almost lost his balance. A bunch of cowards. You don't even dare to fight. You're nothing but parasites of the family. What can you do? The people from Nine Silences Hall began to provoke them. Sure enough, the people from Nine Provinces Academy were angry. Who are you calling cowards? Let's fight. Do you think we're afraid of you? Humph, come on. Grandpa will beat you until you're reborn. Dean, fight them. Don't be afraid. Dean, fight. Looking at the angry crowd below, Zhongxi's passion was ignited. Dean, Nine Silences Hall is too arrogant. If this continues, our Nine Provinces Academy will become a laughingstock sooner or later. We have to fight. What fight? Can you beat them? Dean, you can't fight. Hobo interjected. Zhongxi rebuked him angrily. Yitianan, why are you praising others and lowering your own prestige? I'm doing this for the sake of those little radishes. You and I are well aware of Nine Silences Hall's strength. There's no way we can win. That's enough. The fat on the dean's body trembled. It's impossible not to fight today. Looking at the furious people below, if they really didn't accept the challenge, who knows how they would be criticized behind their backs in the future. It was all because of this group of troublemakers. Humph, the culprit was still Shen Yaoguang. The dean angrily announced that the competition would continue. Starting from Shi Shang's match, it was Shi Shang's victory. This kind of competition was actually quite boring. Not only was it a waste of time, but there was only one goal in all the fights, which was to defeat the opponent. Shi Shang had never cared about the process. Fairness and justice were all nonsense. Whatever you said when you defeated your opponent was fair and just. When it was the female lead's turn, Shi Shang finally pulled himself together. Qin Langyue was already a third-level spirit king. Her cultivation speed was like a rocket. She sent a Nine Silences Hall disciple flying with a single move. The Nine Silences Hall disciple had been a little complacent from his victory, allowing Qin Langyue to take advantage of the opening and defeat him in one hit. However, the following matches weren't so easy. Nine Silences Hall dared to act tyrannically on the mainland, so they weren't just for show. Almost all of the younger generation were experts. Qin Langyue had almost lost several times, but she always managed to turn the tables in the end. It was truly a difficult victory. This competition was like a single elimination tournament. Both sides had the same number of people, and the winner would be the one to defend the ring. Currently, only Qin Langyue was left on Nine Province Academy's side, while Nine Silences Hall only had 2 people left. Can Qin Langyue do it? I hope so. Didn't she make it through just now? I didn't know she was so strong before. Thank goodness I didn't join them in kicking her when she was down. The female lead was indeed the female lead. She was an unkillable cockroach, always able to turn the tables at the last moment. When it was time for the last person, Shi Shang suddenly poked Bu Jingyun. Have one of your people come over. Bu Jingyun looked at her in confusion. What are you looking at? You'll have plenty of time to watch in the future. I told you to call someone over, but you don't understand. Humph. Shi Shang, Bu Jingyun transmitted his voice to the enforcers to send someone over. Shi Shang took out a few small purple balls and handed them to the person. The person had seen these balls before. They exploded with a single toss, and their power was astonishing. They were even more terrifying than spiritual energy explosions. The hand holding the balls couldn't help but tremble. What if these things explode? If you can't win, throw them away. The person trembled. This isn't good, right? And you're on the enemy's side, aren't you? Why are you helping them? Could it be that you've taken a liking to the Hall Master? The Hall Master is actually selling his body. Bu Jingyun glared at him coldly. He immediately stopped his imagination from running wild. Blasphemy against the Hall Master is unacceptable. Even if you don't use them, she'll still use them. This is all I can help you with anyway. Although there was no rule prohibiting the use of props, almost no one had used them for so many years. Hence, in the end, the female lead had used a prop to catch 9 Silences Hall off guard, resulting in a crushing defeat. Hall Master. Will this girl's words work? She's already snatched you away, and she even brought you around blindly right under the enforcers' noses. Bu Jingyun didn't say anything. No one knew how Bu Jingyun had figured it out, but in the end, Bu Jingyun had returned and given the props to the enforcers, indicating that the Hall Master had agreed. Hence, when Qin Langyue was about to use her prop, 9 Silences Hall's people had already thrown the balls in advance. After a series of explosions, Qin Langyue was forced out of the arena. She was heavily injured, and it was unknown whether she was dead or alive. 9 Silences Hall's people cheered, but 9 Provinces Academy's people were disappointed and furious. She almost won. Qin Langyue actually lost at the very last moment. She'd given them hope, but in the end, it had turned into despair. This contrast made some people dislike Qin Langyue even more. You've won the limelight. You've lost, and the world will criticize you. This is the reality. So, don't lose no matter what. Despicable. Using props. Someone shouted angrily, expressing his disdain for 9 Silences Hall's people. What's despicable about that? Weren't you guys planning to use props too? We just seized the initiative, and the rules didn't say anything about not using props, so how is that despicable? If you lost, then you lost. What's the point of looking for excuses? Shi Shang sneered, his crisp voice immediately suppressing all other voices. The scene fell into an eerie silence once again. The enforcers suddenly found Shi Shang much more pleasing to the eye. Of course, this didn't negate the fact that he'd snatched away their Hall Master. Shen Yaoguang, whose side are you on? Zhong Shi's eyes were about to spit fire. Shi Shang shrugged. Neither side. I'm just a cannon fodder who's here to watch the drama unfold and watch the female lead destroy the world. Asterisk recommendation. After Martyrdom with the Great Demon King, by Hua Chi Mu. The style of the novel is... Yep, a novel. You can read it if you like. I tipped you yesterday. Did you vote today? Chapter 191. The atmosphere was abnormally tense. If looks had substance, Shi Shang would have been stabbed to death countless times by Zhong Shi's glare. It was unknown how the dean managed to negotiate with the enforcer, but in the end, the enforcer didn't provoke them anymore. Instead, he shot a meaningful glance at Shi Shang before leaving with his men. After the enforcer left, the dean stormed off in a huff. He was probably furious. Zhong Shi was worried about Qin Langyue, so he didn't have time to pester the dean. However, he definitely wouldn't let this matter rest. Hobo Uncle jumped to Shi Shang's side, his unshaven face full of praise. Yaoguang, good job. I've never seen that old fart so sullen before. It's so satisfying. Shi Shang. This hobo's brain isn't normal. Shouldn't a normal person be asking me about my relationship with 9 Silences Hall? What was he trying to do with that? My student is so awesome, I'm very gratified, I'm very happy expression. However, they definitely won't let this matter rest. Don't worry, as your mentor, I won't let them do anything to you. Yi Qiannon's expression turned serious. Thank you, mentor. Shi Sheng thanked him very politely. Bu Jingyun was flabbergasted. How could this woman be so polite? Hobo uncle waved his hand nonchalantly. What are you thanking me for? Since you're under my tutelage, this is my responsibility as your mentor. Hobo uncle gave a few more words of advice before leaving in a hurry. The onlookers had mostly dispersed by now, but there were still quite a few people who were pointing at Shi Sheng and Bu Jingyun. After all, Bu Jingyun was as beautiful as a fairy, so it would be strange if he wasn't eye-catching. Shi Sheng's eyes darted around, then he suddenly tugged at Bu Jingyun. Come, I'll take you to beat someone up. Bu Jingyun didn't get a chance to express his opinion before Shi Sheng dragged him along. She's just a girl, where does she get her strength from? This doesn't conform to the teachings of the continent at all. Jun Hanlin left before the crowd dispersed. He wanted to make these people misunderstand that Shi Sheng was colluding with Nine Silences Hall, but she didn't cooperate with his plan at all. Or rather, she was fearless. To be honest, this was the first time Jun Hanlin had seen such a strange woman. No matter how many schemes there were, it was completely useless against a person who didn't fall for it and didn't play by the rules. Jun Hanlin was a little unwilling. He didn't believe that he couldn't break this woman. If she didn't have anyone to rely on, would she still be so arrogant? Just as he made up his mind, his vision suddenly turned black. He was put into a bag. His body went numb and he couldn't move at all. When he saw the light again, the scene around him had changed into a small forest. Standing in front of him was not the people he thought would often tease him, but the people he was thinking about just now. Shen Yaoguang. Seventh Prince. Is it fun to play the pig to eat the tiger? Did the boat capsize? Do you think my Shen Yaoguang is easy to bully? You're actually trying to manipulate public opinion. You're really good at it. Jun Hanlin. He had never thought that she would come straight to his door to catch him. Jun Hanlin felt that his body was slowly regaining consciousness. He looked at her calmly. The eldest daughter of the Shen family is indeed extraordinary. I don't need you to tell me that. Shi Sheng raised his chin. All right, enough with the nonsense. The effects of the drug will wear off soon. Jun Hanlin was about to go crazy. I just wanted to drag it out until the drug's effects wore off. Why did you say that? Shi Sheng turned to look at Bu Jingyun. Where are your men? Call two of them out and beat him up. Jun Hanlin followed Shi Sheng's gaze. Bu Jingyun was standing with his side facing him. Although it was only his side profile, it was enough to see that this was a man of unparalleled beauty. Why don't you do it yourself? You want me to do it for such a small matter? Then why do you keep those people around? If I could beat him up, I would have done it long ago, okay? What do my people have to do with you? Bu Jingyun's expression was as cold as ever. His eyes were cold. You're mine, so of course what's yours is mine. Shi Sheng glared at him. Why are you so long-winded? Hurry up and call your men. Do you want to die? Bu Jingyun. You only know how to yell at me, humph. Bu Jingyun raised a hand and waved it in the air. Two disciples wearing Nine Silences Hall's uniform jumped down from a nearby tree. Hall Master. Shen Yaoguang, let's talk things over. Jun Hanlin couldn't help but speak up when the two disciples were already in front of him. There's nothing to talk about. Shi Sheng curled his lips. I haven't settled the matter of you sending people to kill me, and now you're trying to scheme against me again. Jun Hanlin, I think you're really tired of living. Beat him to death. If you survive, you'll be lucky, but if you die, you'll be unlucky. Shen. Ugh. Jun Hanlin groaned as his abdomen contracted. His body bent over from the pain. Before he could catch his breath, another fist landed on his abdomen. Getting beaten up was practically a daily task for Jun Hanlin, so he was actually quite resistant to beatings. Shi Sheng considered whether he should have someone stab him with a sword, but decided against it in the end. Let the female lead torture him, I'll just sit back and watch the show. Shi Sheng crouched down in front of the beaten-up Jun Hanlin, his eyes shining brightly. June Hanlin, don't send people to kill me anymore, okay? You can't kill me, so why waste your energy? Save some resources, it's not easy to train people. Shen Yaoguang, if you don't kill me today, you'll have to kneel down and beg me sooner or later. This hateful woman. Oh. Then you mean you want me to kill you right now? Since it's your wish, I'll definitely fulfill it. Shi Shang nodded seriously. Suddenly, he pulled out his iron sword and stood up. The iron sword swung in the air, creating a gust of wind. June Hanlin gritted his teeth and glared at Shi Shang. He'd lost today. He'd underestimated this woman and miscalculated her temperament. 20 years later, he'd be a hero again. Would the male lead die so easily? Shi Shang will use facts to tell you. This. No. Can. Just as her iron sword was about to hit June Hanlin, a strong white light suddenly erupted from his body. Shi Shang was swept by the white light, and his body was sent flying backward. Bu Jingyun instinctively caught her, but because he was injured and had just been tortured by Shi Shang, he didn't have much strength left. Both of them fell to the ground. Shi Shang grabbed Bu Jingyun and used himself as a cushion for Bu Jingyun. Bu Jingyun was on top of her, and their eyes met. Bu Jingyun was stunned. Then his cheeks flushed unnaturally red, and even the tips of his ears were red. But in the next second, his face darkened. There was no conventional kiss, only Shi Shang's gritted teeth and frowned as he muttered, "What the hell did you eat growing up? You're so heavy. This woman not only thinks I'm old, but also thinks I'm heavy. This sovereign is so angry. Am I that old? Old. I'm not old at all. Asterisk pleading votes." Chapter 192. Hallmaster, are you all right? The 9 Silences Hall disciples helped Bu Jingyun up from Shi Shang. Bu Jingyun harumphed coldly. The 2 disciples looked at each other in confusion. What's wrong with the Hall Master? Shi Shang supported himself with the iron sword as he stood up. His gaze shifted to the spot where June Hanlin had been standing, but it was empty. There was no one there. Shi Shang rubbed his chest, which was hurting a little from Bu Jingyun's weight. He looked thoughtfully for a while. What was June Hanlin's cheat again? That's right, it was a phoenix. It was a perfect match for the female lead's divine beast, the dragon. The male lead's divine beast wasn't depicted in the early stages of the novel, but when it appeared later in the novel, the phoenix was already very powerful. Although the white light just now was a little strong, it didn't cause much damage to them. Could it be that the phoenix was injured? An injured phoenix was worse than a chicken. Holy shit, what are you doing? Shi Shang turned around and saw the 9 Silences Hall disciples trying to escape with Bu Jingyun. He immediately shouted, "Let him go! Dream on, the Hall Master is ours." Seeing that they had been discovered, the 2 disciples didn't try to sneak around anymore. They each grabbed one side of Bu Jingyun and ran away. Shi Shang leapt up and stepped on a tree branch, blocking their path with the iron sword. "I'll say it again, let him go." "No. This is our Hall Master. You witch, we won't let you sully our Hall Master." Shi Shang. What the hell is a witch? What sully? Am I that kind of person? Shi Shang was both angry and amused. Fine, then you can leave your lives here. The 2 disciples' expressions changed. They let go of Bu Jingyun at the same time and ran in opposite directions. "Hallmaster, we'll send the enforcers to save you. You must protect your innocence." Holy shit. Didn't you say you wouldn't let me sully your Hall Master? Tui, I won't sully him. I haven't even accumulated my primal chaos power yet, and you're leaving already? Were your bold words just for show? These are your people? Are they here to make fun of me? Humph. Would they have left if I didn't tell them? I won't tell her. Shi Shang. Damn Tsundere. In a remote corner of the academy, June Hanlin's figure appeared with a burst of white light. He was in a sorry state, his face was red and swollen, and his eyes were gloomy. Shen Yaoguang. He gritted his teeth as he spat out the name. Master. A weak voice suddenly sounded in June Hanlin's mind. His expression changed. Little Seven, how are you? I've used up too much energy. Master, I might fall into a deep sleep. I won't be able to protect you. Rest well. Master, be careful. Little Seven stopped breathing after saying this. June Hanlin tugged at his wrinkled clothes. His face was burning with pain. He felt as if something was cutting his face with every movement. June Hanlin felt a knot in his heart when he thought about how he got this injury. He couldn't help but think of that peerless man. Who was that man? What was his relationship with Shen Yaoguang? June Hanlin had only treated the injury on his face, but it wasn't completely healed. The bruises were still visible. On his way back, he ran into a few people who told him that Qin Langyue was heavily injured, so he could only stumble back to her room. Qin Langyue had already applied medicine to her wound, and she had refined pills herself, so it wasn't a big deal. However, she couldn't show it too obviously in front of Zhongxi, so she could only lean on the bed and listen to him. That Shen Yaoguang is too arrogant. She actually dared to collude with 9 Silences Hall and even beat you up. I won't let her off. A cold light flashed in Qin Longyue's eyes. She deliberated for a moment before saying, but she has the Shen family backing her. What is the Shen family? Zhongxi snorted. Perhaps he felt that he was being too agitated, so he took a deep breath and said, You're also from a large family. You should understand that there isn't much familial love in that kind of family. There are only chess pieces and abandoned pieces. Qin Longyue's eyes dimmed. She smiled bitterly. Familial love and the human heart can't withstand a single blow in the face of power and money. The Qin family is blind. They'll regret it one day. Zhongxi thought that Qin Langyue was thinking about her past in the Qin family, so he comforted her. Wife, are you all right? June Hanlin suddenly ran in and squeezed Zhongxi aside to sit in front of Qin Langyue. Wife, where does it hurt? I'll blow on it for you. It won't hurt any more after that. Qin Langyue looked at the filthy June Hanlin, whose face was still bruised, and felt impatient. She said unhappily, I'm fine. As long as you're fine, as long as you're fine. June Hanlin patted his chest exaggeratedly. I want to rest now. Qin Langyue was already in a bad mood after losing today. No matter how she looked at June Hanlin, he was an eyesore. Why should she take care of this idiot like he was her son? 7th Prince, Langyue was injured today. Let her rest well, Zhongxi said. His attitude wasn't too bad, but it wasn't too good either. Oh. June Hanlin smiled at Qin Langyue. Then have a good rest, wife. I'll come see you in a while. Qin Langyue nodded perfunctorily. June Hanlin and Zhongxi left together. Zhongxi had to look for the principal, so they parted ways as soon as they left. June Hanlin stood in the shadows, staring at Qin Longyue's residence with an inexplicable expression. Just as he was about to turn around, a figure suddenly appeared in his field of vision. Jiang Mu? Why is he here? Jiang Mu went in for a long time and didn't come out. June Hanlin's eyes flashed. He stood there for a while longer before leaving. Recently, there had been a lot of rumors circulating in the academy. They were all about Shen Yaoguang and Qin Langyue. The versions of these rumors were enough to write a 1,000,000-word novel. However, since the higher-ups hadn't said anything, these people could only spread rumors. They couldn't do anything to the Sheng. Qin Langyue was different. Even though she was a 3rd-level spirit king, there were still many people targeting her. Every time this happened, Jiang Mu would appear and beat those people to the ground. As a result, these people who had nothing better to do started spreading rumors that Qin Langyue and Jiang Mu were having an ambiguous relationship, and that Qin Langyue had made June Hanlin a cuckold. As for the Sheng, speak ill of her? Beat them up. Make trouble for her? Beat them up. Laugh at her? Beat them up. In any case, as long as they dared to approach her, they would be beaten back without exception. After witnessing the Shishang's valiance, not many people dared to challenge her authority. Instead, they all went to block the principal and demanded an explanation. The principal was so anxious that his hair fell from his head. What explanation? Shen Yaoguang was like a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. No matter what he said, she'd just block it back. Although the Shen family hadn't made any moves, the academy didn't have any concrete evidence. If they really did something to Shen Yaoguang, would the Shen family not interfere? Asterisk pleading votes. Chapter 193. Shishang moved to a quieter residence. Bu Jingyun seemed to have no qualms about living there. Shishang even suspected that someone had switched Bu Jingyun's core. Otherwise, why would he stop making so much noise? Here's the antidote. Shishang handed a pill to Bu Jingyun. It's for this month, so you better not run away. Bu Jingyun snorted, took the pill, and swallowed it. Damn, this damned tsundere. How long are you going to keep me? Bu Jingyun suddenly asked after swallowing the pill. Shishang did not raise his head. His voice was soft and gentle. A lifetime. A lifetime. These 3 words were neither soft nor heavy, but they slammed into Bu Jingyun's heart. It was as if something had suddenly taken root and sprouted. He pursed his lips, and the tips of his ears turned slightly red. After a long while, he managed to squeeze out a few words. Shameless. How am I shameless again? Shishang raised his head. He placed both hands on the table and leaned in Bu Jingyun's direction. I didn't do anything to you. Be reasonable. Bu Jingyun seemed to have been startled. His body jerked violently, and then he fell off the stool. His eyes instantly darkened. He quickly lowered his head, suppressing the pain that was surging through his body. He squeezed out 2 words through gritted teeth. Get out. Shishang was just about to reach out to grab him when he suddenly heard those 2 words. His hand froze in mid-air, then he withdrew it and left the room without looking back. He even closed the door on his way out. Bu Jingyun only raised his head slightly when he heard the door close. Those scarlet eyes made one's scalp tingle and break out in cold sweat. She's gone. But he was actually a little disappointed. Bu Jingyun endured wave after wave of pain in his body. Just when he felt that he could not hold on any longer, someone propped him up from behind. Then, a warm liquid flowed through his mouth and into his esophagus. The liquid was filled with a nauseating taste. His stomach churned, and he wanted to vomit. But in the next second, a cool liquid was poured into his mouth, bringing with it a hint of sweetness and fragrance. After Shishang was done, she carried Bu Jingyun up and placed him on the bed. 2 disciples of 9 Silences Hall stood behind her, one of them holding a bowl of bright red liquid. Bang! The protector rushed in from the outside and almost broke the door. Hall Master! Don't come over! Shishang frowned and scolded him. The protector stopped abruptly. He gritted his teeth and glared at the Shishang. What do you want? This woman was so difficult to deal with, but the hallmaster was still. Shishang covered Bu Jingyun with a blanket and asked, What's wrong with him? The Dharma protector glared at Shishang. This has nothing to do with Miss Shen. Shishang raised his head and glanced at Bu Jingyun. His iron sword appeared out of thin air and pointed at Bu Jingyun. Whether he lives or dies is up to you. Protector, you want to make a move just because of a disagreement? What is the meaning of this? In truth, the enforcer did not believe that Shishang would do anything to Bu Jingyun. After all, she had taken good care of the hall master. However, one could never be too careful. This woman's temperament was completely unpredictable. Who knew if she would really make a move on the hall master in the next second? In the end, the protector gave in to Shishang's threat. The hall master has a curse on him that will act up at random times. When it does, he needs to drink a woman's blood to relieve it. Drink a woman's blood? Damn, I'm going to give you 100 bad reviews for this stupid joke. What kind of curse? The villains were just as pitiful as the protagonists. The Protector's eyes flashed and his voice turned serious. I'm not sure either. When I was with the Hall Master, he was already like this. It was the Hall Master who told me that it was a curse. That's why Nine Silences Hall would capture women from time to time. However, it's not as terrible as the rumors say. We only take their blood, not their lives. Is there no other way? No matter what the curse was, there was always a way to solve it. It was just that the price to pay was different. The Protector shook his head. The Hall Master has been looking for a solution all these years, but he hasn't found anything. Shi Shang sat on the edge of the bed. No one knew what she was thinking. The Protector couldn't help but feel uneasy when she didn't speak for a long time. Miss Shi, the Hall Master can't stand your torment. Please be magnanimous and let him go. Shi Shang tilted her head and looked at him. Her calm eyes were like stagnant water that had been tainted with ink. They were dark and sinister. The Protector felt a chill run up from the bottom of his feet to his head. He had seen extremely cruel people and people who were in pain and despair. However, he had never seen someone like her. I don't mean him any harm. Shi Shang spoke slowly and calmly. You don't have to worry that I'll hurt him. After all, if I wanted to kill him, I would have done it a long time ago. The Protector was stunned. Although he felt that this woman was a little arrogant, he knew that she was telling the truth. If she really wanted to kill the Hall Master, she would have done it a long time ago. She wouldn't have forced them out when the Hall Master's illness acted up. The Protector opened his mouth and swallowed the words that were about to come out. Shi Shang chased the Protector out of the room. The Protector felt a little sullen. This was his Hall Master, okay? His Hall Master had been taken by this woman and he couldn't even take him back. How frustrating. Shi Shang glanced at the person on the bed, then took out a book and started reading out of boredom. By the time Bu Jingyun woke up, it was already late. The light was dim and there was a rustling sound in his ears. It took him a while to get used to it before he could see clearly. Shi Shang was sitting on the edge of the bed, flipping through a book. She was really flipping through the pages so quickly that she didn't even bother to look. When she saw that Bu Jingyun had woken up, she immediately threw the book away. You're acting like a girl. I guess I'll be the only one who wants you from now on. Bu Jingyun. What kind of joke was that? He was being teased the moment he woke up? He was so handsome and there were countless people who wanted him. How could no one want him? Wait here, I'll go get you something to eat. Shi Shang jumped off the bed and walked outside. Bu Jingyun glanced at the pages of the book she had tossed aside, and his face immediately turned red. His cheeks were burning hot. This shameless woman. Shameless. As soon as she left, the Protector entered the room. His heart skipped a beat when he saw his Hall Master's flushed face. Was the Hall Master thinking about love? He carefully observed his Hall Master's expression for a while before asking, Hall Master, are we really not going back? That woman obviously had bad intentions. Why did the Hall Master still want to stay? If they didn't run now, when would they? Bu Jingyun calmly covered the book with the blanket and shook it. He didn't know why, but he felt like he couldn't leave. Even though he often had nowhere to vent his anger because of her. This woman had no sense of shame at all. Hall Master, how many times has this happened this month? Bu Jingyun interrupted the Protector. The Protector gritted his teeth and said in a low voice, This is the 5th time. In recent years, the Hall Master's outbursts had been getting shorter and shorter. Bu Jingyun fell silent. The air was filled with a sense of oppression. Asterisk pleading votes. Chapter 194. When Shi Shang returned to the academy, he was afraid that Bu Jingyun would run away, so Shi Shang brought him along with him. As a result, the already famous Shi Shang became even more famous. However, she continued to cause trouble. The academy wanted nothing more than to expel her, but the Shen family was still standing behind her. Without the Shen family's permission, she was the eldest daughter of the Shen family. If the academy suddenly expelled her, they might offend the Shen family. Eldest Mississippi, Shi Shang and Bu Jingyun were walking on a small path in the academy when someone suddenly ran up to them. Shi Shang thought that the voice sounded familiar, so he turned to look. Sure enough, it was Shen Jin. What do you want? Shi Shang's tone was not pleasant. Shen Jin ran closer, panting slightly. Eldest Miss, there's a banquet in 3 days. You must go back. Ever since the last incident, Shen Jin rarely saw Shi Shang. She did not return to the Shen family, and even if she did, she would not see him. It was completely different from before. He even felt a little afraid standing in front of her, so he could not help but speak with more respect. Banquet? What banquet? It can't be the banquet I'm thinking of, right? The 100 Clan banquet is being held by the Shen family this year. As the eldest daughter of the Shen family, eldest Miss naturally has to attend. The 100 Clan banquet. It was not said that 100 families would attend, but rather, all the famous forces in the Jojo continent would attend. Although she did not know what it was for, it existed. No wonder she found the Shen family very busy when she returned. It turned out that they were preparing for the banquet. Everything about the banquet was a trap. Shi Shang only went to see the female lead and caused trouble at the same time. On the day of the banquet, Shi Shang brought Bu Jingyun with him. The thing she had done recently had probably disappointed the Shen family. No one even looked at her in the eye. Even the biological parents of this body looked at her with a look of disappointment on their faces. Yao Guang, why did you bring a man here? Mother Shen looked very young and resembled this body a little. If they stood next to each other, no one would think that they were mother and daughter. When she saw Bu Jingyun, who was standing beside Shi Shang, her expression darkened. She called Shi Shang to a secluded spot and said, "You're the legitimate daughter of the Shen family. How can you interact with men so casually? You represent the face of the Shen family. Do you know how many people are watching you? Hurry up and get that man out of here." Mother Shen only had one daughter, Shen Yaoguang. Although she was the daughter of the first wife, she couldn't inherit the family business in the future. If it wasn't for Shen Yaoguang's talent, Mother Shen would have had a hard time in the Shen family. Naturally, she couldn't watch her amulet slip out of her control. Shi Shang remained silent. Mother Shen continued, "That man is good-looking, but other than that, what else does he have?" She had never heard of such a handsome young master. Since he was not famous, he was definitely not from a wealthy family. This was not beneficial to the Shen family. No matter what, she would not allow her daughter to interact with him. He had the 9 silences hall. In the future, you still have to hug his thigh and send your daughter away. Shi Shang answered in his mind. You are the daughter of the first wife of the Shen family. The man you are going to marry must be a dragon among men. Yao Guang, listen to me. For the sake of the Shen family, you can't be willful. You have to know that you are carrying the burden of the Shen family on your shoulders, Mother Shen said earnestly. Shi Shang rolled his eyes at his mother's words. Putting the burden of the Shen family on a girl's shoulders? What a mother! What about the men of the Shen family? Yao Guang, hurry up and send him out. I will pretend I didn't see what happened today and won't tell your father. Otherwise, you won't have it easy. Mother Shen started to threaten her. Shi Shang's lips twitched and he said sarcastically, "Why are you saying it so nicely? It's all for your own benefit. You can give the title of the first wife of the Shen family to whoever you want. I don't care." Mother Shen was dumbfounded. Shen Yaoguang, what nonsense are you talking about? You crazy girl, have you gone crazy? Do you think you can give up the title of first wife just because you say so? That's right. I said I don't want it, so I don't want it. Shi Shang nodded seriously. Mother Shen was so angry that her chest heaved up and down. Suddenly, she raised her hand and slapped Shi Shang. This rebellious girl was really infuriating. Other people would fight to the death for the title of first wife's daughter, but she didn't want it at all. Shi Shang casually grabbed Mother Shen's wrist. His expression was cold. You gave birth to me, so I won't argue with you. But if you hit me, then don't blame me for not giving you face. Shen Yaoguang, you're crazy. Mother Shen's voice rose a few notches. Her face was ashen. I'm your mother. How dare you hit me back? Did I raise you for nothing all these years? Her Yaoguang used to be so obedient. She must have been led astray by that man outside. Mother Shen disliked Bu Jingyun even more. He had the face of a vixen. How good could he be? Shi Shang narrowed his eyes and smiled. He said mockingly, You used me in exchange for your position in the Shen family. You weren't the one who raised me. To be honest, you only gave birth to me. This Mother Shen, when she was young, she only knew how to fight for Father Shen's favor. Now that she was old, she was thinking of ways to hold on to her power as the Shen family's matriarch. Apart from being Shen Yaoguang's birth mother, she had never fulfilled her duties as a mother. All these years, Shen Yaoguang had heard her talk the most. She was the Shen family's first wife's daughter, she represented the Shen family, she had to work hard, blah blah blah. Fine. Now that you've grown up, you won't listen to me anymore, will you? That's right, you've grown up. Shi Sheng nodded. I can fly to the sky now. Mother Shen was so angry that blood rushed to her head. She wanted nothing more than to slap this rebellious girl to death. Alas, Shi Shang was still holding her hand. She could only say angrily, Shen Yaoguang, who do you think you are without the Shen family? How powerful do you think you are on the continent? Last time, there was a rumor that you colluded with 9 Silences Hall. Without the Shen family, do you think you can still stand here? I have no problem beating the entire continent. Even if she couldn't beat she could still bomb them. She had so many bombs stored up that it wouldn't be a problem to blow up the entire continent. Mother Shen was so shocked that she couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. Was this arrogant person really her daughter? Fine, fine, fine. I want to see what kind of person you can be without the Shen family. Don't come back crying when the time comes. Shi Shang let go of Mother Shen and took a step back. He clapped his hands in disdain. Then let's announce it at today's banquet. It'll save us trouble in the future. Mother Shen was so angry that she almost fainted. She agreed immediately. Shen Yaoguang, don't regret it. Regret? I don't know those 2 words. Shi Shang sneered, then turned and walked out the door. After Shi Shang left, Mother Shen finally woke up from her anger. What did she just say? Her only support in the Shen family was Shen Yaoguang. Without Shen Yaoguang, Mother Shen didn't dare to think about it any further. She chased after Shi Shang, but he was nowhere to be seen. Mother Shen was so angry that her heart hurt. Her vision turned black, and she fainted. Asterisk tipping and updating, there was a blackout today. Chapter 195. When Shi Shang went out, Bu Jingyun was nowhere to be found. She searched for him and found him by the pond. But, why is the female lead here too? *CK. How did you 2 little bitches hook up with each other? Sir, thank you for just now. Qin Longyue's body was dripping wet. As the cold wind blew, she couldn't help but shiver. Even her voice trembled as she asked, May I know Sir's name so that I can repay you in the future? Impatience flashed in Bu Jingyun's eyes. He wanted to leave, but Qin Longyue's body swayed and she fell into his arms. Fuck. Shi Shang, who was watching the show, exploded. Female lead, are you trying to ascend to the heavens? The male lead is still waiting for you to pamper him. Why are you tormenting my villain? Shi Shang rushed forward and supported Qin Longyue. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. Why are you throwing yourself into my future husband's arms, Qin Longyue? Future husband Bu Jingyun. I don't want to say that I know her. Shameless. Humph. Killing intent flashed in Qin Longyue's eyes. She pulled her arm back from Shi Shang's grasp. I just lost my balance. I didn't mean anything else. Do you think I fancy a piece of trash? He's just a good-looking guy. Only Shen Yaoguang would treat him like a treasure. Shisheng didn't miss the disdain and contempt in her eyes. He patted his chest exaggeratedly. You scared me to death. I thought you were going to steal him from me. Qin Langyue looked at Bu Jingyun with pity, then nodded politely. Thank you for just now, sir. Bu Jingyun turned his head away. Qin Langyue frowned, the disdain in her eyes growing. Senior Sister Yaoguang, I'll take my leave first. She didn't wait for Shisheng's reply and turned to leave. Why did she thank you just now? Shisheng looked at Bu Jingyun curiously. The female lead didn't seem to fancy him? Bu Jingyun coldly turned his head away. Shisheng. What the hell are you snorting for? After much effort, Shisheng finally managed to dig out the details of the incident from Bu Jingyun. The female lead was being bullied, and Bu Jingyun just happened to show up. Those people were probably afraid of causing trouble, so they ran away. Shisheng was dumbfounded. What kind of rescue was this? So what was the female lead's train of thought? How could she be bullied? This was illogical. Wasn't the female lead supposed to be so cool? How could she not handle a few small shrimps? Are you kidding me? Did you bring that stupid thing I gave you last time? Shisheng suddenly asked. Bu Jingyun was at a loss. What kind of lousy toy was that? The one the academy gave him? He had thrown it away long ago. That thing could only block one attack, and it would be useless after it was used. The Medicine King tripod, Shisheng added. Bu Jingyun was speechless. The Medicine King's cauldron was just a piece of junk. What did Bu Jingyun think of those people on the continent who would do anything to get their hands on the Medicine King's cauldron? Even a spit from each of them could drown you. I did. Bu Jingyun snorted. No wonder. Shisheng stroked his chin with a look that said, I've seen through the truth. The female lead was after the Medicine King's cauldron. Even if she wanted it, she had to be alive to get it. Shisheng gave a sinister smile. Bu Jingyun saw this from the side and felt that Shisheng was a demon standing next to him. That devastatingly beautiful face was a complete lie. The banquet began. As the host, Father Shen naturally had to make a speech. A leader's speech was like an old lady's foot-binding cloth, long and smelly. Shisheng yawned several times, and she was about to fall asleep. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to make an announcement. Father Shen paused. My daughter Yaoguang and the third prince will be engaged today at the 100-clan banquet. What the hell? Engaged? With the third prince? Was there something wrong with his brain? Shisheng instantly woke up and looked at Father Shen. Father Shen also happened to see her and waved at her. Yaoguang, come here. The third prince had already walked out and was standing next to Father Shen. He was also looking at her with deep affection. Shisheng was speechless. Mommy, this plot is toxic. Everyone's eyes fell on her and the handsome man beside her. Shisheng was leaning half her body on the man, and she was even holding the man's arm. Their posture was so intimate that it was obvious that they weren't in an ordinary relationship. Everyone's eyes turned cryptic. There was going to be a good show. Shisheng didn't move. He only twitched his lips and said, I didn't agree to any marriage. If you want to get engaged, don't come to me. She had no idea that this was going to happen, so the Shen family didn't care about her opinion at all. They were fine as long as she could get some benefits. Heh. The original owner of this body didn't want to destroy the Shen family without reason. A family like this was better off destroyed. The third prince was a scumbag who abandoned the female lead. Later on, he turned over a new leaf and loved the female lead to death. Didn't he know that stealing a man from the female lead would lead to a terrible death? Yaoguang. Father Shen's face darkened. What nonsense are you talking about? Come here. You don't understand? Then I can't help it. I don't sell things that increase my IQ. Shisheng shrugged helplessly. Shen Yaoguang. Yao Guang, do you not like me? The third prince stopped Father Shen and asked affectionately. That's right, I don't like you. Do you think your money and everyone loves you and you love everyone? Idiot. The third prince's face stiffened. This answer was too straightforward. The script he had prepared died in his stomach, and he didn't know how to continue. He was so handsome and elegant. How could there be someone who didn't like him? This Shen Yaoguang really didn't know what was good for her. At such a young age, she was already so close to a man. If it weren't for her good looks and the fact that the royal family needed the Shen family, he wouldn't have agreed to get engaged with her. She actually didn't know what was good for her. That's good. Shi Shang stood up straight and walked to the center. There are so many people here today. I'll let everyone be my witness. The stunned crowd. This development didn't seem right. I, Shen Yaoguang, will sever all ties with the Shen family today. We will never interact with each other again. Shi Shang's voice spread through the hall. At this moment, all sound seemed to disappear. What did you say? Father Shen thought he was hallucinating and couldn't help but ask. Shi Shang very considerately repeated, I said, I, Shen Yaoguang, will sever all ties with the Shen family today. We will never interact with each other again. You. Father Shen was so angry that his hand trembled. He pointed at her and couldn't say anything else. The anger in his chest was rising. The family had spent so many resources to cultivate her. She wanted to clear her name with just a few words? He took a deep breath and suddenly suppressed his anger. He put on the airs of a loving father. Yao Guang, don't mess around. There are so many guests here today. Even if you want to make a joke, you have to look at the occasion. Is it because I've spoiled you too much that you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth? Father Shen's words were well said. First, he said that she was messing around and joking. Then, he said that he had spoiled her too much. He wanted everyone to know how spoiled she was as the eldest daughter of the Shen family. Even at such an important occasion, he could tolerate her messing around. If you still want to sever ties with him like this, then you're a heartless person. Asterisk tips and updates. Chapter 196. You can call me an ingrate or an unfilial daughter, but I won't be coming back here. Don't involve me in your business. Shi Shang shrugged nonchalantly. Men, send this unfilial daughter back to her room, Mr. Shen ordered with an ashen face. This damned girl was bewitched today. It seemed that he didn't care much about her. She didn't even know who was in charge of the Shen family. A few disciples of the Shen family walked out from the crowd. Young miss, please excuse me. Shen Jin looked at Shi Shang awkwardly before cupping his fists. It's not nice to fight to the death. Shi Shang looked at Mr. Shen with a half smile. Are you sure you want to embarrass yourself on such an important occasion? Mr. Shen's eyes were about to spit fire. You know this is an important occasion. You know how to embarrass yourself. Take her away. He would teach this unfilial daughter a lesson later. Shen Jin wanted to grab Shi Shang, but before his hand could touch her, he felt a sharp pain on the back of his hand. He pulled back his hand and saw that it was swollen. An iron sword had appeared in the girl's hand. When he looked over, the cold blade of the sword slashed at him. Shan Yaoguang. Mr. Shen's angry roar resounded through the hall. Shi Shang's hand didn't stop at all. The iron sword fell at a speed visible to the naked eye. A strong wind swept from behind Shi Shang. She frowned and the iron sword was forced to turn around and sweep behind her. The person who attacked Shi Shang was a disciple of the Shen family. The iron sword swept past him and he fell to the ground. With one person dead, the crowd was shocked to realize that today's matter was serious. Mr. Shen was so angry that he panted heavily. He ordered the guests to leave. Although these people wanted to watch the show, they didn't have the final say. They all left the hall. Soon, only Shi Shang and the Shen family were left in the hall. Shen Yaoguang, we raised you for so many years. We gave you food and clothes and let you live a glorious life. Is this how you repay us? Mr. Shen's face darkened. His eyes were full of disappointment and murderous intent. An uncontrollable daughter. He didn't want her. Do you know anything else other than that? Shi Shang tilted his head and smiled faintly, but the smile did not reach his eyes. His dark eyes were like dark stagnant water, which only made people feel gloomy. He looked like a demon that had crawled out of a dark abyss. Father Shen's heart thumped wildly. This person was not his daughter. His daughter would not laugh like a devil. Who are you? What did you do to Yaoguang? Father Shen suddenly roared such a sentence. The surrounding people were all baffled. Wasn't this their young miss? Was the patriarch so angry that he became muddle-headed? I'm whoever you think I am. Shi Shang continued to provoke him with a fearless face. Father Shen almost spat out a mouthful of blood. She was whoever he thought she was. How would he know who she was? Capture her, capture her. No matter who she was, he would not let her go today. The disciples of the Shen family looked at each other. What are you standing there for? Grab her. Only then did the disciples of the Shen family rush forward, trying to capture Shi Shang. These people were all of the younger generation, so how could they be a match for Shi Shang? They were all taken down in a few moves. The smart ones lay on the ground and played dead, while the stupid ones got up. Only death awaited them. Father Shen watched as Shi Shang killed without hesitation. The flames in his eyes burned fiercely, as if he wanted to burn her to ashes. His gaze sharpened, and he suddenly rushed towards Bu Jingyun. Shen Yaoguang, stop, or I'll kill him. Shi Shang glanced over, and his expression changed. Father Shen knew that he had made the right bet. This pretty boy was indeed very important to her. However, Shi Shang did not stop there. He drew a few beautiful strokes with his sword, and blood splattered everywhere. The people around him fell to the ground one after another. It was as if the space had entered another dimension, and it was completely silent. Shi Shang's head turned, and his red lips moved slightly. Are you threatening me? If you don't want him to die, then surrender obediently. Otherwise, I'll kill him. Father Shen pressed the dagger in his hand against Bu Jingyun's neck. Fine, go ahead. Shi Shang suddenly withdrew his sword. Do you dare to kill him? He's just a pretty boy. What's there to be afraid of? I don't believe that you don't care about him. She had brought a person with no cultivation to her side, so it was obvious how much she cared about him. How could she not care about him? Pretty boy. Pfft. Shi Shang suddenly laughed. His smile was quite vivid, and although his eyes were still calm, they were no longer as sinister as before. Bu Jingyun, look, they're all saying that you're my pretty boy. Humph. He did not want her to keep him. As a real man, he absolutely could not allow that. Bu Jingyun proudly turned his head away. Because of the pull, a bloody mark appeared on his neck. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes and reminded Father Shen, if you don't let go, the Shen family will be destroyed. You want to destroy the Shen family alone? Father Shen sneered. What do you take the Shen family for? Who said I'm alone? Shi Shang looked at Father Shen like he was looking at an idiot. Didn't you hear what I called him just now? What? Father Shen did not react for a moment. What did she call him just now? Bu Jingyun. Father Shen's expression changed. Who on the continent did not know the name Bu Jingyun? He looked at the frail man he was holding hostage, then at Shi Shang, who was smiling maliciously. No. How could Bu Jingyun be so young? And how could he have no cultivation at all? Bu Jingyun had been famous for 100 years. No matter how powerful he was, there was no way he could maintain such a youthful appearance. This was definitely not Bu Jingyun. This woman was lying to him. The great Shen family's patriarch is using a man to threaten a weak woman. If word of this got out, it would be a laughing stock for years to come. Weak woman. With her lethality, she had the nerve to use that word on him. How shameless! Cut the crap and put down your weapon. Father Shen firmly believed that this woman was lying to him. He pressed down harder on Bu Jingyun's dagger. Bu Jingyun's nose twitched when he smelled blood. His stomach felt a little uncomfortable. Shi Sheng frowned. In a flash, he disappeared without a trace. Father Shen looked around in shock. A black shadow flashed past his eyes. Before he could see clearly, he felt a sharp pain in his arm. His wrist was flicked away by something cold, and someone kicked him in the chest. He was forced to let go of Bu Jingyun. Bu Jingyun was pulled to Shi Shang's side. The smell of his own blood mixed with the blood on the ground in the distance. It made him want to vomit. Just then, someone stuffed something into his mouth. It was cool, sweet, and fragrant. It melted in his mouth and washed away the smell of blood. He looked up at the girl beside him. Her smooth face carried an indescribable coldness. She tore the hem of her clothes and wrapped it around the wound on his neck to stop the bleeding. This two-faced woman. She acted like she didn't care, but she clearly cared about him. Asterisk, please vote. Chapter 197. Shi Shang finished bandaging Bu Jingyun's wound, then turned to look at Father Shen, who had been kicked aside by her. She had wondered why Father Shen hadn't attacked her directly, but had instead used Bu Jingyun to threaten her. But now she knew. Father Shen was injured, and it was a very serious injury. No wonder he suddenly wanted her to marry into the royal family. The royal family needed the Shen family's support. She didn't know what Father Shen was planning, but it definitely wasn't a good idea. Shi Shang's mind raced for a moment, then understood the crux of the matter. Jun Hanlin had probably attacked the Shen family. The male lead was really awesome. If Jun Hanlin knew that he was just making a wedding dress for himself, would he be so angry that he stomped his feet? Imagine the male lead's face when he stomps his feet. It's pretty interesting. Shi Shang's mind wandered, and Father Shen took the opportunity to call for help. By the time Shi Shang came back to his senses, the empty hall was once again filled with people. This time, the people who came were obviously not the same as those who could be killed with a single strike. The weakest among them was a 7th-level spiritual king. Kill her. Father Shen was furious. He didn't care who this woman was or why she was pretending to be his daughter. Shi Shang curled his lips. He grabbed Bu Jingyun's wrist, then took out a small purple ball with his other hand and threw it. Bang! Shi Shang jumped out of the hall on the iron sword. The hall behind him collapsed at a speed visible to the naked eye, and purple lightning crackled everywhere. The shockwave from the explosion spread, and the people outside could feel its terrifying power. They quickly ran out of the Shen family residence. Shi Shang controlled the iron sword to rise to the top, then looked down. When he saw that most of the people had left, Shi Shang took out a small ball and threw it down like a bomb. The entire Shen family residence collapsed one after another, filling the air with dust and lightning. Rumble! Deafening thunder suddenly rumbled in the sky, and large dark clouds gathered. Shi Shang's hand froze in mid-air. Damn, I was too excited to throw it, and forgot about the system's reminder. Shi Shang hurriedly put away the ball, then controlled the iron sword to fly to a place where there were no dark clouds. Bu Jingyun looked up at the lightning that was ready to strike. Is this lightning for you? Why else would they be sightseeing? But, they're following you. What? Shi Shang looked up, and sure enough, the entire dark cloud was moving with her at a strange speed. You guys can't be that fast if you're just waiting for the sack. This was not in line with the studies of clouds and rain. You can't change it just because you're the heavenly Tao. You'll be complained about. Shi Shang found a relatively flat area and tossed Bu Jingyun down. Then, he flew off into the distance with his thundercloud. Bu Jingyun felt a little uncomfortable as he looked at the lightning bolts falling from the sky. He wanted to follow them, but he realized that he had no other choice but to walk. Therefore, when he walked to the place where the thunderclouds were densest, he saw Shi Shang lying on the ground, not knowing if he was dead or alive. His heart was in his throat as he rushed forward. Shen Yaoguang. Shi Shang's eyes were slightly closed. When he heard her voice, his eyelashes fluttered, and he responded softly. Bu Jingyun breathed a sigh of relief. This woman was a walking disaster. How could she die so easily? Pretentious prick gets struck by lightning. The ancients didn't lie to me, Shi Shang muttered weakly. Then, he raised his middle finger to the sky. The cultivation world struck me. The fantasy world struck me again. But in the end, it still didn't kill me. Idiot. Ah, it hurts. Shi Shang shrank into Bu Jingyun's arms, her face scrunched up in pain. Bu Jingyun didn't know what he was thinking, but for some reason, he hugged Shi Shang tightly. She was wearing a strange robe, but it was in tatters. He tried several times to take it off, but he couldn't. In the end, he had no choice but to carry her away. Shi Shang woke up abruptly. Her face was pale, and her chest was gasping for air. It was that dream again. You're awake. A clear voice pulled her back to reality. She jerked her head up. The man in red was standing against the light, his expression indifferent. Shi Shang's eyes darted around, and she was completely awake. She turned her head and looked around. Where is this place? Wasn't she struck by lightning? How did she get here? Bu Jingyun took 2 steps forward. The light on his handsome face faded, but he was still breathtakingly beautiful. He lowered his eyes to look at her. 9 silences whole. 9 silences whole? Why did you bring me here? To raise you. Humph, only she was allowed to raise him, and he wasn't allowed to raise her? Raise your grandpa. Do you think you can afford to raise me? You can raise 100 million yuan every minute. Why are you wearing red again? Shi Shang frowned at his clothes. They were dazzling, and so good-looking. She was going blind. This is my territory. I have the final say in what I wear. Humph, I like wearing red. Don't tell me you want to marry me so badly? Then when I recover, we'll hold the wedding. Shi Shang smiled, her eyes crinkling into crescents. Bu Jingyun. Shameless. Bu Jingyun flicked his sleeves and left. However, if one looked closely, they would notice that the tips of his ears were red, which made him look especially cute. Shi Shang pursed her lips. She tried to move her arms, but found that they were sore and swollen. She was still wearing the robe that had blocked the lightning for her. Fortunately, spiritual energy was universal. Otherwise, she really might have been struck to death by lightning. Game over. Shi Shang took off the damaged robe and felt it up and down. Fortunately, it wasn't a big deal. Shi Shang recuperated for a few days, and the soreness in her body finally subsided. However, she could still feel it. She couldn't even take off Bu Jingyun's clothes. Shi Shang stretched her arms and legs. A woman came in with a tray and placed the food on the table. Miss, it's time to eat. This woman was Xiao He, who had been taking care of her for the past few days. She was a very cute girl. Why is it porridge again? Shi Shang glanced at the food on the table with a displeased expression. Xiao He covered her mouth and laughed. Miss, you're not feeling well. The hall master specifically ordered us to make something lighter. After that, she added, Miss, you're so lucky. Our hall master has never been so nice to anyone before. Is that so? Nice my ass. Then he doesn't have any other women around him? He's more than 100 years old. That. No. Xiao He shook her head. The protectors are the ones who serve the hall master. We rarely see the hall master. Shi Shang. Why do I feel like I'm seeing an endless gay love scene? The hall master and the enforcers. They were a couple in all the novels. Looking at how worried the enforcers were about Bu Jingyun, it was actually possible. She imagined the scene of the two of them rolling around. The enforcers were strong, so they were definitely on top. The eyes of the crowd were clear. The hall master was indeed a gigolo. No, stop. If you continue imagining things, I'm going to get excited. Shi Sheng suddenly felt a chill. She wasn't going to break them up, was she? No, I'm only interested in breaking up the male and female leads. Asterisk imagining things was an illness. Chapter 198. Square City was just like its name. It was a square city. Because it was close to the forest where the magical beasts lived, the city was basically ungoverned. The whole city was very chaotic. However, Square City had its own master. The Castellan He family was the most powerful family in the city. Everyone who lived in Square City had been bullied by the He family. When Shi Shang came here, he had no intention of occupying the city. However, there was someone in the He family who wasn't afraid of death and wanted to steal her sword of justice. How could he do that? That thing was her tool to kill people. However, that little bastard didn't win and had one of his arms broken by Shi Shang. That little bastard even brought his old man out. Shi Shang had been suppressing his anger, so he took care of the He family in a fit of anger. However, Shi Shang was also injured. She was only a mortal now, so she couldn't use the small ball on a large scale. She could only use her hands. If it weren't for the fact that she had a lot of things in her space, she might not be able to defeat these people in a one-on-one fight. The people in Square City lived on the edge of a knife. No one had any kindness left. There was only endless plunder. This was Shi Shang's favorite place. He didn't care about human nature, conscience, morals, or affection. Winner takes all. Winner takes all. According to the rules of Square City, whoever killed the Castellan would be the new Castellan. Shi Shang destroyed the He family, so she would be the Castellan. However, there were always people who took advantage of the situation. Some people wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill Shi Shang and get the Castellan position without any effort. Cough, cough. Shi Shang supported himself with his iron sword. His face was pale as he coughed twice. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. There were two people standing in front of him, surrounded by blood and corpses. It was like a scene of carnage. Little girl, don't struggle. You're strong, but you're already at the end of your rope, right? Man stared at Shi Shang maliciously. You don't look too bad. Be good and call me Big Brother a few times so we can have some fun. Maybe we'll spare your life. Ever since she started doing missions, she had never been in such a sorry state. Taking turns to fight. She hated it. Bah. Shi Shang swallowed a mouthful of blood before casually wiping it off. Do you guys think you're so pretty or that your cultivation is unparalleled in this world? How dare you run your mouth in front of me with your looks? Man A was furious. Just as he was about to speak, he was stopped by Man B. Little girl, there's no point in talking too much. Oh. Shi Shang's lips tugged up into a smile. Ripples appeared in her calm eyes, making her look strange and sinister. Then I'll teach you guys how to start anew. Shi Shang's figure flashed and he rushed over with his iron sword. The two men probably didn't expect Shi Shang to still have the strength. They were surprised for a moment, but they quickly fought back. They thought that even if she still had the strength, it would definitely be the last. However, they soon realized that this was not the case. Apart from her pale face, she didn't look exhausted or exhausted at all. However, the two of them were gradually unable to hold on. This woman was very strange. Man B wanted to retreat. If they continued fighting like this, they would die sooner or later. Shi Shang's iron sword was already in front of him. He suddenly grabbed Man A next to him and threw him onto Shi Shang's iron sword. Then, he ran outside. Man A was pierced by the iron sword. He probably didn't expect that he would die because of his companion. The girl's slightly cold and sarcastic face was the last thing he saw. See, I said I'll teach you a lesson. Don't worry, he'll come down to accompany you soon. Shi Shang pulled his iron sword away and chased after him. Man B was about to run out of the city lord's residence when he suddenly felt a chill on his back. There was a hard object in front of his chest. His body suddenly fell forward and fell on the gate of the city lord's residence. The sharp blade scraped back and forth in his chest, scraping against his bones. It was extremely ear-piercing. That sound was like the prelude to death. Everything in front of him turned into nothingness. There were footsteps behind him. They were very light, as if they were stepping on his heart. He heard a girl's light voice behind him. "Don't be a human in your next life. It's too tiring." Shishang pulled the iron sword out of the lifeless corpse and sat down without caring about his image. He was gasping for air. His internal organs felt like they were being burned by fire. It was a burning pain. Shishang's little face was scrunched up. After a while, she recovered and lay down with her head raised. If another person came, she would have died. Killing people was also a physical activity. If only she could imagine the other person dying, she would feel good. "Host, don't be too imaginative." The system suddenly blurted out. Shishang ignored it. The system didn't say anything. The ground was full of blood and stains. Shishang was lying in a pile of corpses. At first glance, one would think that he was dead. The sky gradually darkened. The moon was above the treetops. The cold moonlight shone on the ground, making the entire city lord's residence look gloomy. It was a peaceful night. The fight had been fought. Shishang naturally had no reason not to occupy it. Thus, she occupied it and declared herself king. So many people had tried to kill her, but she hadn't died. Her strength was unquestionable. The people of Four Corner City had tacitly acknowledged her status as the city lord. Ever since Shishang became the city lord, Four Corner City had become even more chaotic. The newly elected city lord's residence only had her as its commander. She didn't care about anything. Other than the occasional city lord swaggering through the streets, there was no one to be seen at all. With no one in charge, how could Four Corner City not be in chaos? Even walking on the streets would cause people to rob them. However, Four Corner City had been especially lively these past few days. The floating population had increased by quite a bit, increasing the income of the jobless youths who reaped without sowing. Qin Langyue and Jiang Mu were stopped by a few people when they entered Four Corner City. Qin Langyue hadn't had a good time in Shishang's absence. The people from the academy had been making things difficult for her, and there was even a fool by her side who only knew how to cause trouble. This time, she had come to Four Corner City for the sake of the treasure that was about to appear. Zhong Shi had told her about it. The academy would also bring people here, but she had left first. "Newcomers? You have to pay a protection fee to enter the city. Hurry up and hand over all your valuables." The sloppily dressed youths whistled as they spoke their classic lines. Although there had been a lot of people these past few days, very few of them dared to make a move. Most of them had come in groups, and some of them were from large families. They didn't dare to touch those people. Now that they saw a young girl and a young man, how could they let them go? "Get out of the way," Qin Langyue scolded with a cold face. "Yo, little girl, you're really hot." The youths roared with laughter. This is Four Corner City, not those places outside. If you don't pay a protection fee, don't even think about entering. You're courting death. Jiang Mu's aura surged, but before he could make a move, a person suddenly ran over from afar, shouting something. "The city lord has ordered us to close the city gates. From today onwards, no one will be allowed to enter Four Corner City. The city lord has ordered us to close the city gates. From today onwards, no one will be allowed to enter Four Corner City." Asterisk tipping and updating thanks to EE, Pimple, and Soft Girl for their tipping. Chapter 199. Is the city lord in the city? The surrounding people immediately whispered to each other. "I saw her leave the city last time, but I didn't see her come back. Their city lord always appears and disappears like a ghost. Finding her is harder than finding the heavens. Closing the city gates at this time. What is the city lord trying to do?" The people who came here are all people with status on the continent, so the city lord isn't afraid of offending them. But now that I think about it, it actually feels good. Those people think too highly of themselves and look down on us. Now that the city lord has locked them outside, it really feels good. The people of Four Corner City more or less had some grudges with the people of the continent. They had either killed someone on the continent and couldn't be tolerated, or they were hiding from their enemies. So when these people looked at the people of the continent, they naturally didn't treat them well. Those who had entered the city before had already fought with the locals no less than 10 times. Since the city lord hadn't come out to speak, they could only curse in their hearts. The people blocking Qin Langyue looked at each other. Young lady, our city lord has already said that the city gates will be closed soon. If you don't pay the protection fee now, we'll have no choice but to kick you out. It's not safe outside Four Corner City at night. The magical beasts in Setting Sun Forest come out for a stroll from time to time. Setting Sun Forest was the forest outside Four Corner City. It covered an extremely large area, and no one could traverse the entire forest. There were countless magical beasts in there, so many people chose to train here. Qin Langyue frowned. It's still daytime, why is your city lord closing the gates? It was just past noon, so it was still far from nightfall. There was definitely something fishy about closing the gates for no reason. How would we know what the city lord is doing? The youth scoffed. This was the first order the city lord had given since she took office. Young lady, are you going in or not? Look, the people responsible for closing the gates are already here. Sure enough, a few tall, burly men came over and chased the people standing at the city gates out without a word. Four Corner City's gates had always been guarded by people, so even if the city lord had changed, the gates would still be guarded. All of you, get out. The city lord said that no one is allowed to enter. What are you all standing there for? Get out, hurry up. What's wrong with you all? Is there any law? The burly man sneered at the person who spoke. Law. In Four Corner City, the city lord is the law. Isn't this city meant for people to live in? Why are you still occupying it and not letting people in? Isn't this unreasonable? That's right. Why should we go out? It's so dangerous outside at night. Let me in. Let us in, let us in. After that person shouted, the city gate was blocked by people. At this moment, the people outside were arguing with those who had already entered and were being chased out. What's the fuss about? Don't blame me for being impolite if you keep arguing. One of the big men suddenly threw out a ball of green spiritual energy. The scene instantly quieted down. Spirit Paragon. This man was actually a spiritual venerable. A spirit paragon could easily become an elder of a large family or a large sect on the continent. The spiritual venerables of Four Square City actually closed the city gates? The cultivation of the people in Four Corner City was much higher than the people outside. Not only did the people here have to face the threat of the humans, but they also had to face the threat of the Setting Sun Forest. Those who didn't work hard had died long ago. Those who stayed were naturally strong and capable. However, they weren't everywhere. There were only a dozen or so spirit paragons in Four Corner City. May I ask this big brother, why are you closing the city gates? Qin Langyue was standing closer to the crowd. Since no one was making a ruckus, her voice was very abrupt. That's right. If you're not letting us in, you should at least give us a reason, right? The big man's face was stern. We're just following the city lord's orders. How would we know the reason? Then call the city lord out. He's just a small city lord, yet he wants to keep so many of us out of the city. Does he know how many people he's offended? The big man looked at the person coldly. Even we can't see the city lord. You want to see him? Dream on. How many people have you offended? Tell us. A light voice interrupted. The agitated person didn't seem to notice the change in the voice of the person who spoke. He opened his mouth and said, not just us, but all the large families and powers on the continent, even the royal family. Before he could finish, someone shouted from the crowd, interrupting him. Shen Yaoguang. Shen Yaoguang. There was no need for any explanation. Just these 3 words were enough to make everyone's gaze focus on the young girl who had appeared out of nowhere. She was wearing a purple dress, which was different from what the girls on the continent wore. Hers looked more convenient for fighting, but the style was still gorgeous. There were tassels hanging from the waist, and the skirt was very elegant. When the breeze blew, the skirt would move. The girl's features were exquisite, and her skin was as white as jade. The corners of her mouth were slightly upturned, as if she was smiling, but also as if she was mocking them with disdain. This was the Shen Yaoguang who destroyed the Shen family and killed most of its members in a single night. Qin Langyue examined Shi Shang from head to toe. She looks completely fine. His cultivation seems to have increased. Shen Yaoguang, why are you here? She destroyed the entire Shen family. Who on the continent didn't look down on her? Why was she here? What does it have to do with you where I am? Shi Shang almost rolled his eyes. Qin Longyue's face darkened. Jiang Mu immediately released his killing intent, looking like he was going to kill Shi Shang. Chase them all out. Find those who entered the city and throw them out as well. Shi Shang ignored Jiang Mu's killing intent and turned to instruct the burly man. The burly man was still in a daze. He actually saw the city lord. And he even knew her name, Shen Yaoguang. Why does the city lord's name sound so good? The burly man only regained his senses when he heard Shi Shang's words. Yes, city lord. This subordinate will definitely do it well. Not only is the city lord powerful, she's also beautiful. Whoever marries the city lord will have a great fortune. The burly man was still blindly admiring her in his heart. What? She's the city lord. Someone in the crowd shouted. Do you know who she is? She's someone who slaughtered her own family, and you actually let her be the city lord. According to the rules of Four Corner City, the winner is king. The burly man's voice rang in everyone's ears. Who in Four Corner City hasn't had blood on their hands? What's the big deal about slaughtering an entire family? Many of Four Corner City's disciples who hadn't come out for training didn't know about this. However, those who did know only knew that the people of Four Corner City weren't to be trifled with. As for the details, only a few understood. They couldn't refute the burly man's words. But now, a person who everyone on the continent despised had actually locked them out of the city. No matter how they thought about it, it was humiliating. Thus, some people secretly wanted to make a move. Tipping and updating thanks to E, Pimple, and Soft Girl for their tipping. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.